Hello.
That was perfectly timed.
I'm good.
Hey, guys. It's Amy Beth. It's Allison. It's JP. We are Rightside Radio, and we are so glad you have joined the mix on this Wednesday. And we're a little discombobulated, but only because Allison and JP were sharing their dreams. And before we go back to the kind of dreams that they've had, and we've all had nightmares this week, but I think Allison's pretty frightening. We want to tell you that JP has packed a lot in to the montage today.
Oh, yeah.
To the topics. We're not going to get to all of them, but we're going to do an update on Nancy Guthrie, maybe a little dip into Howard Lutnick and what should happen with him. Netanyahu's in D.C. What in the world, Susie Wiles, IRS employees, and they're in debt, and on and on. We have guests. We have a guest at 3 o'clock. And then we have another guest at 4:30.
No.
Or is it 3:30 and 4:30?
No.
Allison,
We don't have a guest at 4:30 anymore.
They can't call in.
No, they can't.
Are they coming in?
No. Well, we do have a 3 o'clock guest.
Okay.
U.S. Senate candidate Rodney Walker is
that's
going
awesome.
to video in. I've never met him.
I haven't either.
So I'm excited because I've heard a lot about his name. Y'all maybe have seen his bus. He has a giant, remember Tuberville had a bus?
Yeah.
Well, that caught on fire. So far, Rodney's hasn't.
So far.
I did see the bus at the summit one time.
I think I saw the bus at the summit.
Yeah. So Rodney Walker will be on. Our other guest had to dip for the day, but he'll be back.
He had to.
Pivot. It's not
That's
us,
good.
though.
Wait. Y'all missed the second one.
Oh,
How about that?
you are very special, JP.
I did that one today.
Thank you.
I have a new thing that I'll send you during the break. It's a Seinfeld clip. Do you have any more buttons?
Yes. I'm
Okay.
still replacing Phil era buttons. So we got buttons for days over here.
Sweet. Okay.
Buttons for days. Well, this is a good one. But anyway, 3 o'clock.
Cool.
That's it.
So we have a guest and lots to talk about. Also, it's Wednesday. And what does Wednesday mean? Hot flash news at 4 o'clock now that we don't have the person calling that was going to call. Don't worry about it.
I don't think Allison was ready for that.
For what?
The hot flash news.
Yeah, I don't.
Really?
I'm gonna have to find me some hot flash news.
Hey, I got some stories for you. I'll shunt them your way. Okay. So we're going to do all that. We're going to do the montage in a minute. I need you guys to revisit the dreams y'all were just talking
We
about.
have a therapy session.
Yeah.
Maybe we have therapists that listen and can interpret our dreams.
I know one.
maybe. Yeah, you know one. And now we know another one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe. So you know, when I woke up at 4:45. I don't remember. I went to bed kind of late. 10:30. That's late for me. But I didn't wake up until 4:45. I slept hard. I don't remember dreaming, but at 4:45, I was contemplating getting out of bed. And I was like, it's still kind of early. Try and go back to sleep. I went back to sleep, and probably I don't think it woke me up. No, I slept. How do I remember? Because you can't remember a dream unless you wake up during it, right?
Typically.
So I must have. Anyway, y'all, it was a giant snake. And when I say giant, I don't mean the length of your boat. I mean the length of a football field.
Allison.
A giant snake. And I'm walking through the woods, and there's this giant snake, but it's all chopped up.
Ew.
It's dead, but there are pieces of snake everywhere I'm walking.
That's freaky.
Somebody tell me what that means.
Well, I had a nightmare 2 nights ago also about a big snake, which is kind of crazy. I have the personal nightmares with people, not too often. Most of my nightmares are jump scare nightmares, and it's always animal related. And 99% of the time it's a snake because I hate snakes. But I was just normal sleep. And then I just had this image of this massive python in my bed. and it bit down on my chest.
Oh gosh.
And I like jumped up and I was like feeling my chest, and my heart couldn't stop beating for like 20 minutes. And then, but that's so weird that we both had a nightmare this week about big snakes.
Mm.
Did it like eat you or rip your heart out? Or
Like it
just
felt like it like went through my chest,
it's
like
you woke up because you
and I jumped up and I was like feeling my chest, like, am I okay?
At least they aren't poisonous.
That is weird, right?
Yeah, that is weird.
It's super freaky.
But I hate snakes.
I hate them. I loathe snakes.
They're the worst.
Well,
Gosh,
should we Google it?
yeah,
does it
we
mean
probably
if you
should Google,
dream
because
about
I
snakes?
just tried to escape and couldn't get back in to this building where I was, and there was all these people, and I got out, but I
no
couldn't get back
snakes?
in. No snakes, but
You were-
just panicked because I couldn't get in, and I kept trying to get in, and I couldn't get back in.
Okay, here's something interesting.
No snakes, thank the Lord.
This is from Meridian Counseling.
Okay.
Dreams about snakes often symbolize profound personal transformation, spiritual awakening, and the shedding of old habits, acting as messengers for inner growth. While frequently representing hidden fears, anxieties, or deceitful individuals, they can also indicate healing wisdom and untapped creative energy, acting as a wake-up call to pay attention to your subconscious or waking life.
Look at y'all.
What does it mean when the
I
snake?
think we should go to a second opinion because I'm not buying that.
What does
They
it
just
mean?
want your money.
What does it mean when the snake eats your heart? Does that mean inner growth?
I'm not sure what that means, except it's a good thing you woke up to make sure you were A-okay.
Have y'all heard that if you die in a dream, you're supposed to actually die?
Yes. But
Have you died?
I thought I died, but I was falling through the air in death because I had been in an accident. And then I woke up, but I was on my way to dying.
I've had some of those.
So I've never actually died, but one of my kids was the one who told me about if you die in your dream, you're dead.
Maybe it's because I know, look, I don't send in any texts, okay? Don't just save your thumbs. I know you're going to miss me, but you don't have to text us and tell everybody, but I'll be gone for like the next 5, from tomorrow through Wednesday. I know it's tragic.
4 total shows.
5.
Oh, 5.
Thursday.
Yes, right.
Yeah. But where we're going, a lady was just eaten by a shark.
Mm.
So maybe that's why, like, I'm wondering if it's a shark fear kind of thing. But see, the snake wasn't coming after me. It was dead. Chopped up. It looked like it went through a giant lawnmower.
That's weird. That's a weird. What if you see a snake in the next couple of days?
I mean, do they have, I guess. All right. Do
Look.
islands have snakes? Wasn't it like Ireland doesn't have snakes?
Ireland does not have snakes, which is why we should go. But there is a song, and JP and I are going to have to play like 9 seconds of it while you're gone by Imagine Dragons, Sharks. And that's going to be your theme song.
When y'all miss me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You think y'all miss me?
Yeah.
No.
Y'all are gonna have so much fun. Listen, do you remember last time we had a show and I went out of the country?
Yeah.
We were in Italy and Donald Trump got shot.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
And
That's right. Whenever somebody's off air, something huge happens.
it's I'm not looking forward to this.
Allison and I did 2 shows without Amy Beth because she was gone for Thanksgiving. And then there's been a couple of times Allison's dipped the show early, but I think this is the first time Allison's been gone. Amy Beth's done 1. This is the first time Allison's been gone for several shows in a row.
You're gonna be like, it flows so much better.
No.
So much easier. There's nobody walking on a treadmill in the breaks.
But that's our entertainment in the breaks.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe I need to start walking during the breaks.
I
think you're gonna have to. But yeah, our little family will be interrupted.
You know,
Our radio family.
y'all have to text me and keep me posted.
But you're supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun when I'll go, well, I can't do anything about it, but I kind of want to know. It's
Well-
like the gossip. I don't want to tell anybody the gossip, but I want to know it.
Or I prefer to wait when I get back, and then whenever I get back, they're
Mhm.
like, "All right, dude."
No, you're going to forget.
No,
Okay,
she
somebody
won't.
keep a journal.
I won't forget.
Somebody
You're gonna
keep a
come
journal.
back. The studio's gonna be empty. Oh yeah, Allison, we got this new place. It's awesome.
The Blaze picked us up.
Yeah.
No
Good luck,
problem.
Sinclair.
Yeah.
We gone.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited, but getting out of town, that's why I have on a hat today and leggings and tennis shoes. This is the best I could do, y'all. All the moms out there, and probably a lot of the dads, like, you got to get your work life in order, your home life in order, your animals in order, your kids in order. And it's a nice feeling. Like Ab said, you get on that plane and you're like, well, if I forgot it, surely no one will die. They'll figure it out.
It's true. And I know all the husbands are like, why is my wife in such a bad mood when we're going out of town? Because you only realize all the things you do when you're going out of town. The same thing when they leave their job. They realize all the things they have to do. And then they go and they're like, oh. So
Real quick before we go to break, what do y'all do on planes? Are you readers? Are you nappers? Are you movie watchers?
what do you think I do on planes?
You read probably.
What do you do on planes?
She reads Socrates in Greek. Anyway, oh no, I'm like a child. I just pass out and go to sleep.
So I
can't sleep.
I'm gone.
I struggle sleeping on planes. We had a 10-hour flight from Chicago to Paris last summer, and I think I was like, I don't know what else to do, and I brought a book. It actually was talking about the history of the beginning of NATO to present, and I think I read like 200 pages of it on the plane. But I can't sleep on planes.
That sounds
can't either.
terrible.
That's right up my alley. But I cannot sleep on planes either.
Straight
Well,
of NATO.
on planes.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Yeah. No, something usually like Chris, do you remember the last time we came back?
Oh, Chris was
He almost died.
Sick.
He was the sickest he's ever been. And we had a really long flight and we almost had to land because of him.
Were y'all flying from Turkey?
Yeah.
Why do they say
Greece,
it like that now?
Because they're weird. But we were. Now, I know y'all are like, travel. We know it is a delightful thing to be able to travel, and we do not take that lightly. God created a beautiful world, and we all get the opportunity to see it. I know military friends, y'all have been so many places. But sometimes when you get to go on vacay, it is just the best. It really is the best.
Y'all aren't even going to know me when I come back.
No, I don't even know.
Are you gonna have a tan? Like
I'm going to be tan and I'm going to be so chill and relaxed.
Don't fall overboard.
No.
Or
I mean,
get
even
eaten
if
by
I
a shark.
do, it's just a little boat. You just, hey, maybe we'll get to jump off of it. You know what they have that we get to do? Have y'all ever done?
the manatee thing?
I'm really going to die. Have y'all ever done, I've never done them, the sea scooters?
No.
It reminds me of, what was in SpongeBob? The superhero. Anyway, okay, the sea scooters, they're like little motorcycle. There's like a little motor in the middle, and then you hold onto these handlebars and you can go under, you wear a mask and you can go underwater and sea scoot
actually pretty
around.
sick.
No
And
way.
see all the stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
When you did this, I thought you were gonna say like riding manatees. Like,
Oh.
it sounds pretty
It's like
If
a
anybody's
rodeo.
going to ride a manatee, it would be her.
yeah.
No,
It would be her. She's our evil Knievel.
I will send pictures. I'm so excited. Anyway, we got to go to break and then stop talking about snakes and sharks, and we'll get to some news on the other side. We'll be back.
Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair, and we are joined by Admiral Brian Christine, who is the Assistant Secretary for Health at HHS. And it is a thrill and it is an honor, sir, to have you here. Thank you.
Oh, it's a privilege to be here. It is so fun to have come back home to Sweet Home, Alabama, to come see my family and to do this, to work with y'all, to do this podcast to help get the messaging out that we need to, so the American people know the good things that we're doing in Washington, the good things that Secretary Kennedy and President Trump are doing. And so as we start off, I have to give a shout out, obviously, to our president and to Secretary Kennedy, because they are working so hard to make this country healthier than she's ever been, to make Americans stronger than we've ever been, to make America great again. So thanks for the opportunity.
So before we jump into those values issues and talking about making our country healthy again, which is such a relief, could you tell those who may not know you or have heard about you, because you are a legend, a little bit about your background?
Sure.
As we jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born, my father was in the Army. I was born in what used to be West Germany. Now, if you're old enough like me, you remember that one time there was an East and a West Germany during the Cold War. My father was a tanker. In other words, he was in armor in the Army, tanks. And we had a lot of armor assets deployed along the East-West border during that time. I was born in 1963, really the height of the Cold War. So I was born in West Germany. My father ultimately went Special Forces. In his second tour of Vietnam, he was really severely injured, lost an arm and a leg, got out of the military. We ultimately settled in Augusta, Georgia, had some family there. I went to medical school at Emory in Atlanta, and then I came over to UAB for my residency, and that's how I got to Birmingham. I did my residency in urologic surgery, completed my residency, and then I joined a urology group here in Birmingham, and I practiced with that group for 24, 25 years, really subspecializing in men's health. That was kind of my gig. Then I got the call for the nomination to be the Assistant Secretary for Health from President Trump. Went through the confirmation process. Ultimately, was confirmed by the Senate. I was confirmed into this position last November, and here you are. So now I'm in Washington as the Assistant Secretary for Health.
Were you expecting that call? I mean, how does this happen?
Yeah,
you're just like
no, that's a great
Brian
question.
Christine in Birmingham, Alabama, and you get a call that you're the next Rachel Levine. What's her boy name?
Richard.
Richard Levine. Richard Levine.
You're
That's exactly
Richard.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, I am President Trump upgrade from Richard Levine.
We would say
there
so.
We're very grateful
Yes,
for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I really think, listen, I think one of the reasons that President Trump nominated me and that Secretary Kennedy wanted me in the position is because I practiced medicine on the front lines. I was kind of a Main Street doctor. And I think they liked the idea of having someone who really understood medical care and delivery from a Main Street level. Personally, I think also one of the reasons that President Trump wanted me in this position, because there's really not another visual that shows the difference between the horrible Biden administration and the really righteous and good Trump administration, and the fact that you have me in the same position as Levine. I'm a man who wears men's clothing, and that really says all you need to know about the last administration and this administration. For sure.
I always thought he could have done a better job, like zhuzhing it up a little bit. Like it was like he put on some earrings and a dress, and that was it. Like, but we can work a little harder. But I think America, the juxtaposition is overwhelming from what y'all are doing versus what he was doing.
Well, no, exactly. When you look at Levine, I mean, again, his agenda was, no question about it, the transgender and minors agenda was so important for him. All he wanted to do was to tell little boys they could be little girls, little girls they could be little boys, and then recommend castrating surgeries, castrating chemicals, hormones, and do irreversible harm to these kids. So if you go back and look at what he talked about, mostly that was it. I mean, Levine advocated for removing any kind of age restriction on transgender treatment in kids. He advocated for those sex-rejecting surgeries. That's what we call them. People say transgender surgery. No, in this administration, we talk about sex-rejecting surgeries and procedures because that's what they are. And that was his big focus, right? I personally believe he was in that position as a statement. I personally believe he was in that position to be an eyepiece, not because he really cared about the health of the country. So I'm really happy to be in this position to be able to reverse and to right so many of the wrongs that the last administration and Levine, perpetrated on the country.
So in this position, you're able to do a lot of good. Could you talk to us about your roles and responsibilities?
Sure. As the Assistant Secretary for Health, you have kind of a three-level role. One is to help form healthcare policy, to work across the different divisions of the Department of Health and Human Services, to work with the CDC and NIH and FDA.
Welcome back to Rightside Radio. I'm Amy Beth with Allison and JP. So because we have a short segment, guess what we're doing? We're doing the montage.
Respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question.
You can give
Within
me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
and we invited
You know what?
you in.
Show the video.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get. You're a failed politician.
I got confirmation now from two separate sources, high-level sources in the White House, that Susie Wiles is blocking any good information for getting from Donald Trump, and that she's really kind of ringleadering this and is behind a lot of her and Bondi are working together to make sure that nothing good is coming out of the Justice Department, no real reform.
While most Americans had to write a big fat check to the government today to pay their taxes, over 100,000 federal workers are not paying their taxes. In 2021, the IRS found that almost 150,000 federal workers owe about $1.5 billion in unpaid taxes.
Should Alabama's public service commissioners be elected or appointed?
Advocates say a change is needed to bring down the cost of power bills and protect regulators from outside influence. But those opposed disagree.
Bibi Netanyahu is coming to the White House. He is going to make the case that if you don't strike now, you're not going to have opportunity to strike later. They'll never be this week.
So an hour and a half ago, we got kind of a bizarre letter, an email from somebody who says they know who the kidnapper is, and that they have tried reaching Savannah's sister Annie and Savannah's brother to no avail. And they said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address. And as they put it, time is more than relevant.
Well, that's a lot.
How about that for a packed montage?
Golly.
What is the TMZ guy's name?
Howie?
He looks terrible.
Yeah, he looks
Maybe
gross.
he has the flu or something.
He was in the Epstein files, by the way. Harvey Levin.
Not Howie.
Harvey Levin.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the Epstein files.
Yeah, I don't know in what context, but he was in there.
Well, it's wearing on him, but he was sniffling, so maybe he just has a cold, or maybe he stayed up all night taking ransom notes. That whole story, though, is very weird. And why the mainstream media, I mean, we've talked about it, but it is like wall-to-wall coverage on every single outlet, which I get. It's interesting. It's a little sensational, and it's gripping.
But also, it's one of their own involved in it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if I go missing, I got nothing. Like, do you know how many missing people are out there? And all of a sudden, all this attention, and it's weird that they are so obsessed with it. Like, I see giving even Fox News like little updates, but
it's obsessive.
There's a lot of other things happening in the world right now that maybe we could break.
Yeah,
I don't know. The whole story is just weird. All right, we got to go to break. Speaking of, we'll be right back.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison.
Think
help implement that policy. There's also a communication role, which really appeals to me. in that we help to communicate the policy to healthcare establishments, healthcare providers, and to the country at large. Okay. The Surgeon General falls under the Assistant Secretary for Health. So when we have our new Surgeon General in, and I'm happy to say that Dr. Casey Means will be having her hearing before the Senate on the 25th of this month, I believe. She'll be an amazing Surgeon General. We're going to work so well together. But together we'll be advancing the message of the Department of Health and Human Services and President Trump to the American people. So there's that communication aspect to the role. And then also, the Assistant Secretary for Health can serve as a civilian, or they can do as I did, which is request commission from the president. So I have been commissioned as the senior admiral at the Public Health Service, specifically the Commission Corps. So you have the U.S. Public Health Service, and then you have something called the Commission Corps, and these are commissioned officers. I'm a 4-star admiral. I lead the Commission Corps, and so one of the other roles I have is as a flag officer, an admiral, is to lead the Commission Corps of the Public Health Service, and that's about 5,400 doctors, nurses, pharmacists, therapists. Believe it or not, we've got a few veterinarians in there as well, dentists, dermatologists. We are Secretary Kennedy's tip of the spear strike force for public health initiatives. And it's really a privilege to wear this uniform. It's a privilege to receive the salutes that I receive from other members of other uniformed services and my own officers. To wear this uniform is a privilege, but that's a big part of what I do, is to lead the Commission Corps, because we really are the edge of the knife, the tip of the spear for public health in the United States. And I have officers deployed other parts of the world as well, primarily in the U.S. We work at Guantanamo Bay, for instance. We work with ICE agencies. We work with DHS. We supply doctors and nurses to the Indian Health Service, which is a big role. We have officers that work at FDA, work at CDC. They're out in community health centers. So we're all over the place, but that's part of my role as well.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
I had no idea.
It's a lot of people. And these officers, these are good men and women. These are good men and women who want to serve, who care about this country. And one of the things I have been told by officer after officer is they said, we are so happy that we have a new Assistant Secretary for Health. We're demoralized by our prior Assistant Secretary because we knew he didn't really care about us. He put the uniform on as a political stunt. Brian, you wear the uniform because you care about the country and you want to serve the president and the secretary.
So going into this role, like, you're just kind of starting. If now, and hopefully we'll do an interview as you're leaving and we can reassess, but give us your top 3, like, these are the things that I definitely want to get done while I'm here. What would those be?
Yeah, and so my agenda is, of course, Secretary Kennedy's agenda and the president's agenda. We all work for the president. He's the commander-in-chief. I work with Secretary Kennedy as we both serve the president and serve the people. And so the things that are really important to us at the Department of Health and Human Services, we know that affordability of healthcare, affordability of drugs, making sure we have good healthcare delivered to everybody, whether it be in a city or in these rural environments, that is something incredibly important to the president and the secretary and myself. Also, we have our values issues. In other words, and we can talk about this, right to life issues, respect for the dignity of every man, woman, and child in this country. That's incredibly important to us. Taking care of men, taking care of women, that's important. So affordability, these values issues, and doing everything so different from the last administration and the last Department of Health and Human Services. We absolutely are guided by science. That's something that Secretary Kennedy has said again and again. We are guided by gold standard science.
Welcome back to Rightside Radio. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. So the top of the montage requires that we talk about Pam Bondi. And what I can't help but wonder, we know what Susie Wiles was up to before she was in this White House. At first, we were like other people. I was like other people. Oh, this is great.
Wait, what was she up to?
Well, she has worked with big drug companies. She has, I'll pull it up. She has a list of, her work resume is impressive, except when you consider, and you go back to her previous work, which is Pfizer, doing their bidding during COVID, which is not great. But then you have to go, wait, did we not also, if we're hearing what's to be believed, that Susie Wiles is gatekeeping, and then we also throw in Pam Bondi in the same sentence because they're gatekeeping what's happening and keeping stuff from Trump, stirring the pot. What was Pam Bondi up to before she got into this position? We thought we knew her. Like, we didn't really know Susie Wiles. We knew Pam Bondi. We saw her on the news. We saw that she was doing good things in Florida. And now she's turned into this emotional, whiny, backbiting woman. It's the things that people don't like about women. I'm sorry, they're generalities because they're true. What has happened to her?
Well, real quick, do you mind replaying the quick 30-second in case people don't know what we're talking about between her and Massey testifying?
Yes. Do you have a longer? I mean,
I have another one actually of her going at it with, I believe,
Raskin?
Not Raskin. Who's the old guy that, like, with his glasses on the end of his? Is it Nadler?
Nadler, Jerry Nadler.
So I've got a little bit of a longer one, her going after Nadler, if you want to play that one too. But
it's so uncomfortable.
I just want to get a feel, because I haven't been able to keep up with this, for what was really going on. It wasn't just a targeted thing at Massey. She was melting down.
Oh yeah. So
in general,
I'll play the quick 30-second Massey clip and then follow with the Nadler to give some more context.
And then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
Red-handed. There was one redaction out of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
And we invited you in.
Gentlemen,
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get. You're a failed politician.
Of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the
theatrics are
question the
ridiculous.
way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs.
I think it's very interesting.
Reclaiming my time.
I think it's very interesting.
And you can
that
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they
Reclaiming my time,
indicted.
Mr.
The
Chairman.
president said they indicted him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock and stop the clock and restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the
and
gentleman
build back
from
the
New
clock,
York.
please.
We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when
Reclaiming
you ask
my-
a question, the
The
witness
question
gets to
was-
answer. You may not like the answer, but she
Right.
gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer,
Reclaiming
Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming
So
my-
he asked a
Reclaiming my
4-minute
time.
question.
Restore 45
and
seconds to
I am
Mr. Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
Answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaiming-
Not on our time. No way.
Reclaiming-
And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I
anything,
did tell you because we
washed
saw
up
what you did in the
loser
Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
washed up loser lawyer.
Yep.
Y'all,
I'm
that's
ashamed.
bad. That is bad. And that is exactly why you don't have women leaders, why people say you can't have women leaders. Now, I've seen men behave like that. But if you watch these committee meetings like Jasmine Crockett, MTG, now Pam Bondi, it's always the women. And they cannot keep it together. She is so guilty. I don't know what she's covering up.
Right.
And if you watch that, it's probably really bad listening to it. But if you watch it, she is sweating bullets.
Oh, she's having a meltdown. There's another clip of her deflecting, saying, "We should be talking about how the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are booming and hit 50,000." It's like, that has nothing to do with that's deflecting. And that's almost like somebody from the administration wrote that on her hand at some point, entered this and that,
That's way worse than I thought. Had you seen that before, Abs?
Yes. It was so uncomfortable. We all know if you raise your voice in a debate rules 101, you've lost. Then when you start lobbing names at people, you sound crazy. And you can't answer the question, and she gaslit them. These theatrics are ridiculous. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, hello, spotlight on lady engaging in the theatrics. And it was so disrespectful and dishonest. I have no idea how she ended up in that position because we thought we knew her. We thought the Pam Bondi on Fox News was the Pam Bondi we were going to get. The one who was brought in to do calm, logical, reasonable legal interviews. But what was she doing before that? Why don't we know more about her? Because to me, I can buy the Susie Wiles gatekeeping way more than I can from what we used to know about Pam Bondi. But why is she doing this? She's obviously guilty. But
I don't know what she's guilty of.
What's she guilty of? But what is she doing? Like, I don't understand.
I mean, they got caught. Like Massey was 100% right. They redacted Les Wexner as a co-conspirator and only did it after Massey went on CNN and said it. But if you noticed, her voice like cracked when he said that. She was like, "We did it for." He's listed thousands of times in the emails before that, and we did it 40 minutes out. And when he said, "Yeah, because I caught you and I made you," and her voice cracked, she's like, "It was only one redaction." It's like, yeah, as a co-conspirator. Like, I don't know. I think it's like one of those things where just stop lying and just, because the more you dig your heels in and the more you fight it, the worse it gets. That's what it was today. Like, she got caught, she got pressed, and how it looks is the Trump DOJ protected pedophiles and people that were trafficking, because Massey played a clip of Kash Patel testifying to Congress saying there's no proof or evidence of tracking to other individuals. Well, that was a lie because there's 6 co-conspirators. It was just one redaction. Like, and then she melts down and hauls insults, calls Massey Trump derangement syndrome, and says that people are loser lawyers. It was ugly. And like, she's got to go. I'm sorry.
Done with her.
I'm kind of at that point. Even if you're going to look bad, at least be composed and at least have some like poker face.
Right.
But when you melt down, it made it so much worse. I think she's got to go. I don't know who to replace her with, but
think about this. Think about how she melts down and like around her, there's a force field of just bad. It's just bad. Combined with Kash Patel, who also gets his knickers in a twist at every turn. Like, think about when he was testifying and we thought at the beginning, oh yeah, go after him. Let's go, Kash. He's the same way. Like, is there something in the water in DC?
I mean, DC changes people. Who was it that was talking? Was it Jared Hudson yesterday? Who was it that was saying that DC just reveals
that Jared? I think he said that
it's a good. Yeah, it's a good word.
Yeah. But it whether it changes or reveals something. I mean, DC is a weird place, and you don't leave there as a normal person. You don't go there and remain a normal person. But I'm wondering, and we might be past this point, but I'm just wondering. Let's just play the game. Y'all play along. Is there a chance they're protecting an investigation still, or they're really trying to protect like things from getting out? Do they know something we don't know, that this information can't get out because this might happen? Like, is there a chance that's why they're freaking out, because they know if you go too far down this road, you're going to screw this up for us? Or are we past that and we're trying to cover tracks of our friends because they'll all be taken down?
Well, when Massey called it out and pressed them on it, they unredacted it. So that makes me think no.
No what?
That there's not some investigations, because when Massey said, "Hey, what the heck?" they were like, "Ah, crap." Well, and then they just unredacted Les Wexner's name. So I don't know. Maybe there's some others that are investigations, and that's why they're redacting it. But the fact that they unredacted Les Wexner's name after they got caught tells me no.
I think there's always a chance, because they are working on things we know nothing about. But I tend to believe that this is who they are. They are in a panic, and they're not going to be able to cover for their friends like they thought.
Yeah, it feels more like somebody got to them and said, hey, if this goes any further, I'm going to abduct your mother and I'm going to do this and this and this. And so you better not let it get any further. That's what this feels like desperation, fear. I don't know. It's very bizarre behavior. You couple that with what Dan Bongino's doing, even though he's out of it, just acting weird. I just don't like it. I don't like the feeling.
You guys, I feel so silly for not considering this before this second.
Well, we probably didn't either. So
how long was Pam Bondi AG in Florida? How long has she known that this is exactly what's been going on
in Florida?
In Florida.
From 2011 to 2019, she was the Florida Attorney General.
And this started in 2005 at Royal Palm Beach High School.
Mm-hmm.
So she was there.
What was she before that?
Let's see.
That's the other part of this with her melting down like that. It's not like if you and I got out there abs, we haven't been trained. We're not attorneys. Like, I mean, we would try and keep our composure, but like
Allison, we do a better job than that. Let's be honest.
Y'all would, yes.
We would be calm.
By the way, she spent 18 years as an assistant state attorney and prosecutor in Hillsborough County, Florida. Before
Tampa.
Yeah.
Where one of my children were born.
Okay.
That's a dirty county, by the way.
I don't know. I don't get it.
I guess I'm asking my own. Maybe I'm answering my own question, and I really hadn't thought about it before now. But if she's been in Florida in law enforcement, she may have known. I mean, yeah, okay. So Tampa was right dead center, but she had knowledge, and this being put on. You know, in front of all these people being asked all these questions suddenly is like, oh, Schlitz beer, Sherlock. Now they're really going to start looking into what I knew and when I knew it. I can't hide any of that anymore because it doesn't look like she did anything when she had leadership positions in Florida. I don't know, but this feels real personal.
I don't like it.
I'll say this one bit before we go to break. I agree. There with when people say, "Oh, this is just the left's just trying to distract from all of Trump's successes with this." Yeah, they are. I think there's some stuff with the administration that I'm not too happy with. Like I think they're starting to backtrack a little bit on the mass deportations and stuff like that. But in terms of from Biden to now, oh my gosh, we need to be talking about all of the great. The border is secure. The economy, the S&P 500. I don't think that's really the economy, but it is booming. Like we should be talking about stuff like that. But when you lie and you get caught lying and then you continue to lie and have a meltdown while lying, all you're giving is the left all the ammunition to say they're protecting pedophiles and that you're giving them what they want. So just own it and just release them and then get it over with. But the longer we play this game and the longer that the Trump administration fights it and continues to have people like Pam Bondi go and do what she did, all you're giving is the left more and more ammunition, So if they would have just released all the files in the first place, and it probably would have been bumpy for a little bit, but you can at least move on and talk about the stock market, talk about the border being secure. But the longer that they keep just digging in their heels and fighting it, then the worse it gets. Just get it over with and release all the unredacted files.
Preach.
We got to take a break. Maybe some text on the other side.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back.
Science to form policy and to do things that are going to make America healthier than she's ever been.
Okay, but Dr. Fauci says he is science. So are we Dr. Fauci science or are we how do you...
Are we science?
We are science. We are science. Listen, people can think what they want about Dr. Fauci. I prefer not to think about Dr. Fauci. I don't have much regard or respect for that individual. But who I do have regard and respect for are RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Bhattacharya, who was so incredibly strong during the COVID pandemic. He leads the NIH, the National Institutes of Health. I have respect for Dr. Oz, Mehmet Oz, who heads up CMS, Medicare and Medicaid. He is amazingly brilliant, amazingly committed to this country. We have Marty McCary, who is out at FDA. Marty also cares deeply. We don't have a CDC director right now. The interim director is a man named Jim O'Neill. Jim is also the deputy secretary at HHS, incredibly smart, incredibly strong, committed to life, committed to science. So those are the people I think about. I don't worry about Anthony Fauci. I don't want to think about Anthony Fauci. He did enough harm to this country. Yeah. I think about President Trump and our team now at HHS because we're doing amazing things.
You clearly are. So could we jump in then to those values issues that you've mentioned? Top of the list, right to life.
Yes.
And underneath that would be people's concern about mifepristone.
Sure.
Could you talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think, I'm 62 years old, turned 62 in December. This is the most pro-life administration that I've ever seen in my 6 decades plus of life. There's no question about it. The most pro-life administration that I've ever seen. I think the administration that is friendliest to religion and faith that I've ever seen. And President Trump has demonstrated that again and again. We stand for life. We stand for the fact that we know that life begins at conception. We respect life until life's natural end. We respect the dignity of the person. We want to make sure that we stand with individuals who believe those same things, and we do. The recent March for Life, you saw that Vice President Vance address the country. The next day, there was a breakfast that was basically for all of the youth, the young men and women who'd come into this country come into the city from across the country. There was a breakfast that morning. Jim O'Neill, the deputy secretary, and myself, we addressed those students, and there were over 2,000 people there. And we talked about the fact, what we're doing for life, the fact that we know little boys are little boys and little girls are little girls, the fact that we know life begins at conception, the fact that we are doing things like, for instance, through my office, the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health, we administer the Title X funds. So let me tell you, so just recently, because of our oversight, directed by Secretary Kennedy, our oversight over Title X funds, $2.3 million of grants that had been given before us had to be returned by Planned Parenthood. $2.3 million that will no longer go to killing children. $2.3 million that will no longer go to lying to women. Because of our oversight, they gave that money back, which is a huge victory. Absolutely. We make sure that we're enforcing the Hyde Amendment. President Trump, Secretary Kennedy, and myself, we are strong for this. No federal dollars are going to go toward abortion or procuring abortion services. We are strong with the Hyde Amendment, and we are making sure the Hyde Amendment is being enforced, unlike the last administration. Yes. We have made sure that monies, that when you have youth, children or youths, young girls who are taken in custody coming across the border or something, that federal dollars cannot go to providing abortion services, because that was going on in the last administration. Just totally disregarding the Hyde Amendment. We stand strong. That's no longer happening. So for those right to life issues, we've been incredibly strong about that, and we're very vocal about that. Again, one of the things that impresses me most about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he's always been this way, he really realizes that God has given an inherent dignity to every man, woman, and child, and we respect that dignity.
As an adopted person, and I know as an adoptive mother, we are so thankful for those policies. And as women who've lived through the nonsense, that the lies that have been heaped upon us, that you have to kill your child to have a life.
That's right.
We're very grateful for your stand in that regard.
Again, all of this is a privilege, but we have to do it for the country. We have to do, and we have to remember too, that all of the wins that we have in this administration and this Department of Health and Human Services, it only takes one election cycle for things to reverse. And so we can talk about this more later, but it's incredibly important for us as conservatives, for us as people of faith, to be motivated to vote in November, to get out, support those candidates who stand with President Trump and his agenda. It's going to be more important than it's ever been. I know every election it's like, this is the most important. So I'm not going to use that hyperbole, but this is an incredibly important election in November. So I want all of the people, all of the men and women who watch this podcast, who listen to this podcast, and there are so many, I want them all to know, tell your friends, tell your families, we've got to be out there supporting candidates in Congress.
Welcome back to Rightside Radio. Wow, the smell of coffee.
It's great, right?
That just makes everything okay. Does the smell of coffee remind you of anything from childhood? I know we're going to get to text, but I'm just asking.
No, I'm just thinking that JP's about to explode.
Why?
You drank a Monster and now
coffee?
Yeah.
Listen,
Don't judge.
I love caffeine. Okay. It's a great drug.
You need to sleep tonight. No more
sorry.
snake dreams.
I mean, I can just feel like I'm ready to go. You know,
Let's go. You want to go walk on my treadmill?
Maybe after this coffee.
He's going to be running.
Bless it. All right. What you got for us, sir?
If y'all want to text in, let us know your thoughts during the show. The text line number is 833-687-4448 or 833-68-RIGHT. One word, RIGHT. Let's see, where should we start? Moon Pie from Madison
Moon Pie
says
the boy.
Moon Pie, the guy. How would anyone really know that if you die in your dream that you really die? If they're dead, they wouldn't be able to tell anybody what happened in their dream.
It's true. That's deep. I enjoy that.
Good thought, yeah.
Huh. So we don't know.
Jenkins from Sneed said, Allison's dream made me think of this. Y'all know the join or die image of the chopped up snake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Put it up on the live stream. You sent a
Yeah,
picture.
maybe. Yeah.
Maybe that needs to be a right side logo of some kind.
Oh, that's good. South Carolina. Yeah, you forget. It's
Yeah.
all there.
Huh. Okay, that's what my snake looked like, except it was a little more ragged,
Like
jagged.
a movie snake.
Like a wood
giant.
chipper.
It was more, it wasn't cleanly cut. I don't know what got to it. But that's exactly what it was. It was just scattered.
Let's see. Stephen from Athens says, forget the quote files for a minute. This is a good question. How about the victims simply name the persons who victimized them? All of the histrionics from Bondi and others are merely a distraction from the simple truth.
Did you guys see Jaya Powell? She was freaking out as well today about releasing too much of the Epstein files. And she was talking about the victims, which I thought was odd.
Wait, she was saying we can't release too much because of the victims?
Yeah, essentially. She was having her own meltdown. Again, back to the women as leaders. Like, keep it together, ladies. But her side was, now you're re-victimizing the victims.
But he was
What?
saying just have the victims come out and say who.
Yes.
Right. Or at the very
Yes.
least, have the victims go to their congressman and say, hey, you go to the floor and say this. Because there's I can't remember the name of the law, but you're protected. You're not legally liable
If
for
you're on
saying
the
that,
floor.
only if you're on the floor. But that's a good question. There's also a part, I don't know if y'all saw this. Apparently, the DOJ accidentally released names of victims too.
I did not know that.
Massey called them out on it, said, hey, this was supposed to be redacted, and y'all did not redact it. But you redacted Les Wexner. So it's just it's backwards and messed up. Thomas from Athens says, must have some redactions to protect the innocents. By the way, where are the girls, now women, who were trafficked? Are they silent due to elites, bought off, scared, disappeared, dead? ?
There was a Super Bowl ad with some of them in it. They're not
But
going to let this
again,
go.
Why are they not just saying it?
I don't know. And by the way, I understand redactions for innocent, whatever,
Yeah.
but not co-conspirators.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So I think at 3:00 we have Rodney Walker.
That's correct.
U.S. Senate candidate. So when we come back, we'll have him on our show.
And Senate races that support the president in November.
You posted recently about gender affirming care, gender dysphoria, and kind of your work. And you just mentioned, right to life. That I would agree that is a life issue. Were you surprised when the American Medical Association came out recently and said that gender affirming care, genital mutilation, all that should be put off till adulthood? And do you think that we're maybe turning a corner on all this?
I think that is I'm so glad you asked that question because, yes, so the American Medical Association is certainly backing away from its prior stance. It was the Academy of Plastic Surgeons. I think that's the right name. The Academy of Plastic Surgeons that said, and this is landmark, they said just this past week that we recommend that we don't do those mutilating surgeries, what we call the sex-rejecting surgeries on anybody under the age of 19. That is huge. That is huge. And I think we are turning this corner. we can never take our foot off the accelerator, because I like to say that gender theory is like a vampire. It'll come back. You may think you've killed it, but it'll come back in the next hostile administration. So we always have to keep our foot on the accelerator for this, and we are, and I am, and President Trump certainly is. But yeah, I hope that we've turned a corner. I really do. This really started with, again, science. So we released at HHS, we released something called the Gender Dysphoria Report, and that was back in the fall. We released this report that basically looked at all the science, and we said, no, the wrong way to treat these children is to perform castrating surgeries. The wrong way to treat these children is to use sex-rejecting chemicals and hormones. The right way to treat these children is with compassionate, competent mental health care. Now, personally, as a person of faith, I personally believe that if the child's parents want this, I think pastoral care is incredibly important to support these kids, right? But we initiated that report. The report was released, and then we did something even more. We had what was called the peer review of that report. So we invited scientists, not all of whom were aligned with us, to say, review this report. Tell us what you think. Put your politics aside, go by the science. And they had to say, you're right. The science backs up exactly what you're saying about this. So I think things like we're seeing with the plastic surgeons, things like hopefully we're going to be seeing more with the AMA, really the shot across the bow was the Gender Dysphoria Report. Because, again, Secretary Kennedy has always said, we use gold standard science to guide our decisions. That's gold standard science. Those kind of things, sex-rejecting surgeries, horrible chemicals and mutilations, that's not the way to treat these kids. I am not going to take my foot off the accelerator on this because, like I said, it is a vampire. If we don't stake it through the heart and if we don't kill this whole gender theory, it's going to come back in the next hostile administration. No question about it. So we're doing great things with that. And that, as far as values, very important to the president, very important to the vice president, very important to Secretary Kennedy and myself.
Can I ask a follow-up question real quick?
Yeah.
Don't forget what you were about to say.
Okay.
So RFK's ideas, like inverting the food pyramid, are seen as kind of controversial. Some of his suggestions on treatments and things like that. To me, there's more science behind what he's saying than what we've been told for all these years. Yeah. I think now, especially after COVID, we're seeing, wait a second, have we been lied to? You're all changing the vaccine schedule for childhood vaccines is huge. But how do you balance that? And do you see much pushback? Because you're saying gold standard science, but a lot of it, people are like, this is new to them.
Well, science is dynamic. Right. It's not static. Science changes over time. I'm a physician. I'm a surgeon. I'm a scientist. The way I do things, and I've closed my practice to be in this job, but the way I did things, for instance, in 2025 when I was still practicing, were very different than I was trained 20 years earlier or even 10 years earlier, because science is dynamic and changes. And that's what Secretary Kennedy has said. What he has said is we always follow the science, but we have to be nimble enough and we have to be honest enough to say that if the science leads us in a different direction than it has in the past, that we are brave enough and we care enough about this country to make those changes. And that's exactly what you're seeing. You mentioned about the vaccines. I mean, let me be very clear about this. And I'm glad you brought this up, Allison, because this is very important. Secretary Kennedy has not taken a vaccine away from anyone. Despite what the lying left will tell you, he has not taken a vaccine away from anyone. Now, what he has said is that we want people to decide what's right for themselves. Yes. We want parents to decide what's right for their kids. We want to put knowledge in their hands so they can make the best decision for them. He has not taken a vaccine away from anyone or anybody. Vaccines are still available. We did look at the recommendations, what the vaccine, the child vaccine schedule should be. And it wasn't just this was willy-nilly. No, what happened is the president said, we need to look at this. And so what did we do? We went and we compared the vaccine schedule for children for other countries, other peer countries, countries like ourselves, advanced countries, and said, what are they doing? And we looked and found out that what we were doing was not in line, and they had good science backing them up. So all we did was we went from 17 to 10 vaccinations recommended, but we're not preventing anybody from getting a vaccine. What we've simply done is look at the science and say, this is what the science suggests. So Robert F. Kennedy has not pulled vaccines from anybody. He's not preventing anybody from getting a vaccine. He's simply saying, Mom and Dad, You make the decision for your kids. What we're not going to have in this administration is a government forcing and mandating vaccines into our bodies or medicines down our throat, or advocating for cutting our children's body parts off for some left radical, really sick ideology.
I mean, we talk about all the time the regret we have. Like, in
Awful.
what world is it a good idea to take your 6-week-old and get jabbed with 4 different chemicals in one? I mean, but we trusted our doctors, and I think our doctors were just doing what they were told in medical school based on science. So very grateful for that, because I feel like Abs and I are always like, we need to go apologize to our kids.
We really
should
do.
know
Well,
better.
I think it's, again, we have to be led by science, like I said, but we have to empower patients. I mean, as a surgeon, I lived and died by informed consent.
Welcome into Rightside Radio. I am Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. And we are delighted to be joined by Rodney Walker, who is a candidate for U.S. Senate. And hey, Rodney, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
We are really doing well.
Where's your cowboy hat?
I'm inside the house, and so in other words, since I'm in the office, I've got it out in the car. I can go get it right quick though if you need me to.
Are you not supposed to wear cowboy hats in the house?
Well,
Is that a rule?
it's kind of an unspoken rule. You're supposed to take your hat off inside the house or when you're eating dinner and that type of thing.
Okay, I knew about the dinner thing, but I just always see you in a hat. But you look very professional in your office.
Well, thank you very much. It's a real office. It's a real working office.
So what do you do? Tell us about yourself. You wear a cowboy hat. So do you cowboy?
Well, so on the business side of things, I own Walker Lands and Cattle, and we sell gooseneck brand cattle trailers all over the United States, including Hawaii. We've been the #1 gooseneck trailer dealer for 13 years in a row, and I have a great staff that takes care of that for us. We have 38 employees scattered through our companies. We have Patriot Fueling Centers. We have 5 of those scattered across the state, and they're in Lineville, Alex City, Wetumpka, Montgomery, and Opp. We also ship fuel down the pipeline to 26 terminals across the southeast. We have Wedowee Quarry, which is a granite rock quarry in Wedowee, Alabama. And then we have a leasing company where we have some rental buildings. So we're very, very much involved in business. We're not a career politician at all.
So what did lead you to get in this race and run for office?
So I've always wanted to help people, and behind the scenes, I've had the honor to do that. I did fly the helicopter for 8 years for our Clay and Randolph County Sheriff's Department, and also got accommodations from the governor for that. And I've done so many things behind the scenes. I've always been a person that was quiet, that just liked to help people for the right reasons. I feel like that our country has to have business people in DC, not being ugly, but as you watch Fox News and different things and you see some of these yahoos that we have in DC and Montgomery, it's just time for business people to step back up and do what's right for their country and get us back on the right track, in my opinion. So that's the reasons.
Looking at the appropriation bills that were just passed, and kind of, it's like every year, you got to pass a budget. Every year, that deadline's coming. Every year, we just pass continuing resolution. We can't seem to get it down. What would your top priorities be? How do you suggest, as a business owner, like, the United States needs to be run like a business? There's no business that would be $38 trillion in debt and still be in business.
That's correct. I'm going to take that as a couple of questions right there. One thing, I feel like when I started this race, it was at 36 trillion, and it's growing so rapidly. And yes, it is at 38 trillion right now. I feel like that the money that comes in, instead of spending it on other things, we really need to invest in our national debt and protect our kids and grandkids. It's very important. And the young people today are very knowledgeable of that, and they're very worried about their future. And also, many young people ask me about how do I feel about sending so much money overseas. And I do not like that. I think that we ought to take care of the homeland first, and we've got to take care of our kids and our food supply and everything. But to answer the second part of that question, we just had all these increased tariffs. We've had the Doge that uncovered so many excess expenditures, and we also have places to cut much more money. We need to take out the loopholes, and we need to take out the pork barrel projects, and we need to start applying all that money back to our national debt. And with that being said, if we run it like a business, if we stuck to our budget and every year we stop like planning on an extra amount of income and we just stuck with the expenses that we had from the previous year in our budget, the excess income could go to the national debt and we could start paying it down. But the trouble is, in America, I feel like that nobody's even concerned about the national debt. We're talking about taking away income tax and stuff like that. But we've got to take care of the debt because it's running rampant and we're just printing money to pay it. And it makes no sense whatsoever from a business side.
So if you are to get to DC and you are a businessman and you clearly understand money, what kind of committees would you be interested in serving on?
Well, the first ones that I really want to serve on are the ones that Tommy Tuberville is on at this time. I'd like to replace him completely on a lot of those. But of course, the Senate Ag Committee is very important to me because that concerns our food safety and also our farmers. And somebody's got to stand up for our farmers because if they don't, we're going to lose our food supply. And with that being said, we'll become a third world country. I want to be on the Armed Services Committee to protect our homeland and protect our soldiers. We must continue to protect ourselves. And there's so much more new technology, and we have old fighter jets and old helicopters and things like that. And we've got to continue to update our military, so that we can stay strong across the world. I know that right now we're looking at buying new Navy ships, and hopefully those will be built at Austell Industries in Mobile. But I want to continue to be on that. Everybody, I would love to be on the Appropriations Committee too, because that's where that I could get a hold of some of this money and get the waste cut out.
I'm curious. I don't know. Do you raise cattle as well?
Yes, ma'am. We have 750 mama cows. We have 26 bulls and about 700 calves. We divide our breeding season into two groups, a fall and a spring, and we raise those calves up to be about 800 pounds, and then we ship them out west to where they're finished and harvested.
Wow.
So with all that's going on with immigration right now, I'm just curious your thoughts on how we handle, Tom Homan came out and said they're just going after criminal, illegal aliens now. But I know that, a lot of people in America say, okay, well, illegal is in front of their name. That's clearly criminal. Part of the concern is impacting farmers, hospitality. And I know Donald Trump has expressed that concern about if you go into these industries and just start yanking people out, they will collapse. But what are your thoughts on immigration, having been kind of on the farming side of America's business?
Okay, so every question you ask me, I'm going to give you my very heartfelt, truthful answer. That may not appeal to every single person, but I'd like for people to hear me out on this subject because it's very important. First, let me say this. I do not believe that Biden should have ever allowed our borders to be open and people just to walk completely across those borders. I believe that's one of the worst tragedies that we have had, and we've got to get that corrected. Now, let me take that to step two. There is no person that's here that worked themselves hard to get a visa to come to America the right way that wants any illegals to come here in the wrong way, because they went through the right process. Ursula Vance did. Melania came here the right way. So many people came to America the correct way. So now let me take the next part of that. Farming cannot survive without immigrant help to come and do labor. Neither can home building, construction, even a battery factory in South Georgia. We keep adding manufacturing, and we must have people that are willing to do the work and to get it done. And let me tell you something, nobody wants to go into a chicken house at 2 a.m. in the morning and pick up chickens with their hands and put them in cages, or nobody wants to work at the chicken plant or the butcher plant to harvest chickens or beef or anything like that. There are a lot of jobs that we have to have immigrant labor to do. Now, I believe as soon as somebody comes here on a Visa card, that we ought to have our Social Security offices called taxpayer identification offices, and you should immediately report there and get your taxpayer ID number, where everyone pays their equal share of taxes, which would also include Medicare, which would help our hospitals and everything. But as far as shipping away people who have been here for 25 years or 35 years that are doing work and providing to our economy, I think that we must leave those people alone. They raised in families here, and they're not causing harm. They're not rapists and drug dealers and people that are in prisons. They're helping to make our economy survive every day. But everybody must pay their fair share of tax.
So tell me this. Why don't you think those industries, chicken houses, for example, can't survive? Is it because Americans are unwilling to do the work? Is that part of the problem?
So let me say it this way, that in Alabama, the numbers are approximately 52% of the able-bodied Alabama citizens that are able to work are working. 48% chooses not to work and things of that nature. For whatever reason, I am not including disabled people. These are numbers from the Department of Labor. I'm just including people that are willing to work versus people that are not willing to work. And I think that the motive is that we make those people go to work. I don't, from an employer, from a long standpoint, I don't think that you can make people work. I think that you have to entice them or give them a reason to work. Perhaps we could get some of those people off of the rolls by drug testing and making sure that you're not on drugs, and give them more incentive to work. But as far as people telling me you can just increase the wage, that's not the problem. Like, you can't pay anybody $50 an hour to run a weed eater to weed eat the side of the road or whatever. Money is not the issue. It's, you have to have people that they want to go to work every day and do that. And I think I've answered that question.
Yep. So we only have about a minute left. I just want to give you the last word to talk about whatever you'd like, and then be sure and tell everybody where they can find out more about your campaign and how to connect with you.
Okay. I thank you so much for letting me be here on the show today. WalkerForAlabama.com, guys. You can go in there and see all of our positions and things that we would like to do. I'm not talking about
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
I wonder if you got a call.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like the NSA. It's like, he got a call. Shoot. Okay. Well, he said Walker 4, like the number 4, Alabama.
Yeah, let me look up the website.
Yeah, look it up real quick. Walker for Alabama.
Yeah, WalkerForAlabama.com, FOR Alabama, WalkerForAlabama.com, all one word.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that was a great interview. I like that he's a farmer.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
I wish he had his cowboy hat on, but I get it. You can't wear it inside. Such the gentleman. All right. We'll be back with more news on the other side.
I had patients who I said, maybe I diagnosed a prostate cancer. And I said, here's your treatment options, sir. Here's what I think is best. Here's the options. What's right for you? And if they made a decision that I disagreed with, I didn't abandon them. Mm-hmm. I said, I respect you. We respect people's right, or we respect their intellect to make a decision for themselves. It's all about informed consent. What you will never see this administration, and what you will never see me or Secretary Kennedy or Dr. Oz or Dr. Bhattacharya, you'll never see us try to force Our personal agenda on people will always be guided by science, and will always give them the ability to make the decisions for their own health.
And you would think post-COVID, people would be thrilled for that. And yet there still seems to be pushback on that idea. There's pushback on the COVID vaccine still. I have young grandchildren. It's still pushed on them. Can you speak to that at all? Because it's unbelievable after all we've learned, after the evidence that's presented itself, that there would be any pushback at all, that we'd say, no, we really do want to make the decision for ourselves. We want to make the decision for our children. We're not anti-science. We're not vaccine deniers.
That's exactly right.
That's not who we are.
We aren't. I've heard Secretary Kennedy say in his confirmation hearing, just like I said in my confirmation hearing, listen, we know vaccines can save lives. We also know not every vaccine is the same. We also know not every vaccine is right for every individual. So you would think people would be happy to have us be able and empower folks to make their own decisions. But again, I think there are those on the left, there are those who hate the president, they hate the secretary, they really hate the ability of people to think for themselves.
Yes.
Right? So they don't support our agenda, which our agenda is health and freedom.
And we're so glad. So I'll save it.
No, if you're on the track, go. Stay
Well,
on the
I wanted
track.
to talk food pyramid.
Oh, that's
good.
actually where I was going to go.
Okay, perfect. Same brain as always.
Great. I'm glad, because this is important. The new dietary guidelines are absolutely incredible. They are amazing. And so what law requires is that at least every 5 years, new guidelines come out. And so when you look at the guidelines from the past, particularly the recommendations that were made by the prior administration, it was just pushing highly processed, highly sugary, fake food on the American people. Why do we have an obesity epidemic in this country among kids, among adults? At least part because of the junk food that are pushed down our throat. And our dietary guidelines do, just like you said, Allison, we've taken the pyramid and we've flipped it. What we are doing now is we are emphasizing protein. We're emphasizing whole foods, nutrient-dense foods. We're emphasizing protein gotten through meats and fish, eggs. We're emphasizing whole fat dairy because that's really healthy. We're telling people, don't be afraid of saturated fat in your diet, right? Don't be afraid. Fat is not our body needs fat.
Yep.
Our nervous system needs fat. We have to have fat. Now, we aren't saying go out and overindulge in fat, but what we're saying is don't be afraid of it. We're saying get your protein, get your nutrients, get your carbohydrates from whole nutrient-dense food, and move away from sugary, fake, processed food. That's all we've said. And I'm telling you, this is going to make a difference in the health of this country, and it makes a difference in affordability. And I really want to touch on that as we talk more about it.
Yeah. Quick question before we do jump into affordability, because I think that's on everybody's mind. What took so long? Why wasn't the food pyramid inverted before now?
That is a great question. I tell you, there are a lot of forces out there. There's a lot of big pharma. There's a lot of big agriculture. A lot of individuals with a lot of money who really love to see sugary processed foods. Think about that. If you can get kids and adults in this country eating, and I don't want to pick on any particular product, but eating a sugary cereal for breakfast every morning, that's a heck of a lot of money that you make in your pocket as that industry. So there's a reason to push those foods. I think that's part of it. But one thing I will say about Secretary Kennedy is I've described him as being a John the Baptist for our times, because he has been a voice crying out in the wilderness, we're poisoning our kids. We're over-medicalizing people. We are destroying this country from within by bad health decisions. He's been a voice crying out. And so flipping the pyramid, making this, is just an example of the kind of radical change that we see with this administration and Secretary Kennedy, all for the good.
I just have to say that I'm really, about a year and a half ago, I cut out all seed oils. I actually upped my salt intake. I add in like organic avocado oil or olive oil. Like I actually add oil to things. I mean, and it flies in the face of everything. I mean, I promise Lucky Charms were the base of the food pyramid when I was growing up.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying because I do too. Like, yesterday for breakfast before I flew down, made myself some eggs for breakfast, and I poured some olive oil on them, a little bit of salt and pepper.
Some ghee.
Yeah, we're not. You don't be afraid of those things.
Right.
This is.
Welcome back to Rightside Radio. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. Y'all. All right. Let's do text first and then try to get to a story after that. JP?
We got some texts that came in. Let's see. First of all, Pastor Barnes from Hartselle.
Pastor Barnes.
Pastor Barnes from Hartselle. He says, JP and lovely ladies, Pam Bondi is not, all caps, not what some thought she was. She's all caps, always been an awful, all caps rhino. She initiated the horrific, all caps, red flag laws that are one of the anti-gun left's creative or greatest achievements. Excuse me. She's not MAGA's friend. That's actually true. I remember that was one of the big issues that conservatives had during her confirmation process was her red flag. She advocated for red flag laws in Florida.
Did she really?
So
boy, I blocked that out.
Does this make you go, this is why Matt Gaetz couldn't be attorney general?
Yeah. So
But I mean, Matt has his issues
for sure.
But I don't think he would have defended this like she has.
No, Matt Gaetz was just freaky deaky.
He just a little frat boy stuck in a.
You know what? What they thought was he can't prosecute Epstein because he was doing it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Oh, I like girls a lot. Especially the young ones.
Never mind. Let's move on. Do we have any other texts?
Yeah, we do. Brad from Primestone County says, while I don't necessarily have a problem with, quote, immigration labor, I take issue with the proclamation that, quote, no one is willing to go into a chicken house at 2 a.m. Teenagers tend to be perfect for that sort of thing, but they are too expensive given the minimum wage laws. We need to, 1, nullify federal minimum wage laws because they are unconstitutional. 2, repeal Alabama's minimum wage laws. And 3, make it legal for anyone to work at whatever wage they will accept. Brad from Primestone County.
I need a screenshot of that. That is a great, thoughtful answer. I do take issue. I understand. I think we've talked about this. We've heard that same story that, we need the immigrants. Oh, I just think there are other people who would do the work. I don't believe that's the only answer. I just don't.
Do you think it could be a slow return to America? Like if you yank all the immigrants out of the chicken factory at once, you're going to collapse.
Well, I don't know because what was the plant in Alabama? Or it may have been it was a car making plant and they had a big deportation rate. And the next day when they opened up like a job, there was a line around the corner of Americans that are willing to work. I think,
why aren't the Americans going there and just saying, hey, let me put my resume on file and when you have an opening?
Well, I mean, because the wages are so low and they bring in cheap illegal labor, they don't even need the Americans to work.
So they're kind of keeping them artificially low because they can.
Yeah. I mean, they bring in illegal labor and they'll work for any wage and we don't need to pay Americans a fair wage. But when they lose the cheap illegal labor and they actually have to pay Americans a fair wage, guess what? Americans will do that. Will do the work. So
I've heard it. I appreciate that was his position on the immigrant labor. However, I still back way up to they've been here for 20 years, 25 years. I still have an issue with that because you're still illegal.
Right.
You still do not need to be here. You have had, so it's even worse for you because you've had that long to go and make things right. So I can't abide that answer simply based on that alone. There's got to be a better way. I do believe Americans would do the work, but I think keeping it artificially low, the wages artificially low is also terrible. There's got to be a better way, but we cannot continue to reward being illegal. We just can't.
I do appreciate him being honest with his answer, though.
Yes, I do.
Because a lot of people would have dodged that.
Very brave.
And felt like it's like a gotcha question.
Yeah.
I just want to know your thoughts, whatever it is. So I appreciate his honesty. And there's some people out there that will resonate with. So I think, what are we talking? Oh,
Public Service Commission.
Public Service Commission on the other side. Y'all, this is getting dramatic. We'll be back.
Teach us to eat the way our bodies have always been meant to eat.
Right.
Not Lucky Charms or whatever the sugary garbage food you want, right? No, not that. Eat whole foods.
That's right.
Eat nutrient-dense foods. And listen, affordability plays a role, or the guidelines rather play a role in affordability. People don't think about this. If you eat the way the guidelines suggest, in other words, if you go out and you buy a pound of ground beef, how many hamburger patties can you make from that? You can feed your whole family, as opposed to going to buy one lousy food, burger from some company out there that's a fake food. If you eat the way the guidelines suggest, whole fruits and vegetables, whole nutrient-dense food, it is cheaper. It will put money in Americans' pockets. It is affordability immediately in your pocket. I know because I've done it. I've looked at this and I do it now, and I tabulate what I would normally spend if I were not following our guidelines. You're going to save money by doing that, and in the long run, our country will be healthier. There will be less obesity. There will be less heart disease, less chronic disease, and things will be cheaper that way too. But there's immediate affordability with our guidelines if people really try it out, if people really embrace these guidelines.
How do you respond, though, when people say, well, what about the food deserts? What about the rural areas that don't have access to whole, fresh foods?
I think that's great. No, I think that's a real concern. How do we water those food deserts, if you will? And that's important, and we're certainly working on that. There's the rural health transformation, $50 billion from the federal government that will go to certain states. Alabama has received over $200 million of that. That, I think, $203 million was the statistic that I got this morning when I was checking on that. What's that going to go to? Bringing better health care to rural areas like we have in Alabama and other states, bringing quality health care, improving health care outcomes, educating people about the right foods to eat. And yes, there's a role for trying to get rid of these food deserts as well. But there's so much going on in this administration that we're doing that are win, 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 win. It's promises made, promises kept by President Trump, Secretary Kennedy, and everybody, all of us who work at the Department of Health and Human Services.
Could we talk a little bit more? I remember years ago the rural medicine push. My husband's a gastroenterologist, so I was with him, remembering hearing all of that. Seemed to get better. Now it seems that we're back scrambling, trying to get that rural healthcare situated again.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us about that in a little more in depth?
Sure. I think this is the perfect example of how President Trump cares about everybody in this country. We don't just care as conservatives and as Republicans and as members of this administration. We don't care just about the big cities. We care about every part of the country, and we certainly have rural areas that they are facing challenges for healthcare access. And so this rural health transformation is hopefully going to help improve those situations. Again, like I said, $50 billion going out to states, our own state, Alabama benefiting, other states benefiting as well. But no, President Trump realizes we have to make America greater than she's ever been. We have to make America healthier than she's ever been. And this is going to be part of that.
That's great.
Are there any other issues that you want to touch on or things you're working on? And initiatives?
Sure. I want to say one thing about some values issues, and then I would like to talk about some things we're doing for affordability and such in the administration.
And talk about Trump RX. Because are y'all part of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea, the Trump RX, great idea. The idea being is that people are going to be able to be linked up with ways to get the most affordable drugs they can. Again, this is going to put money in people's pockets immediately and today. Trump RX is a great program. Again, helping people to get linked up to get the drugs that they need at the lowest prices they can get. So yes, incredibly important. The last on the values issues, going back for just a second, one of the things that I think is incredibly important is that we see the rise, unfortunately, in this country of what people will say physician-assisted suicide. I call it euthanasia. I call it physicians and nurses helping murder people. We see this on the rise in this country. If you look at countries like Canada, it's one of the leading causes of death. Canada was so proud of itself, this was several months ago, because someone who had been who had euthanasia, who chose to die by their own hand.
Welcome back to Rightside Radio. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. And now we discuss a topic that should not really be a big deal, but now the Public Service Commission, that commission that no one really knows what they do, except they do affect our power rates and they do some other things. That's basically what most people think of. Except in Alabama, it's apparently up for vote as to whether or not Public Service Commission members can continue to be voted into office by us, or if they will begin to be appointed to their office. So this thing has blown up. I mean, am I right? It's gotten big for something that most people have no idea what they do.
I think that's the point. Most people, now I will say, most people, I don't know anybody that's asking for this in terms of like a voter or an average citizen. There are not people out there in Alabama going, at dinner tables going, I really wish we could appoint the Public Service Commission because blah, blah, blah. That's not happening. And in some ways that's unfortunate because they do handle a lot of really important things that affect our everyday life, like your power bill. They are the go-betweens between Alabama Power and your lights, like they kind of represent both and balance it out. They don't want Alabama Power to go broke, but they don't want you to be subsidizing their expensive yacht trips. So, which I don't know if they take yacht trips, but anyway, my question, as this whole issue came out of literally nowhere, it wasn't a pre-filed bill. It's not like they've been thinking about it. As far as I know, they haven't really even been talking about it. I have my theories of where this is coming from. And one theory has proven correct. There's an article in Yellowhammer News by Sawyer Knowles. And apparently Tommy Tuberville has gotten involved in this. And on a call, he has a weekly call with a lot of his large donors and people in the state, around the state. I'm going to read to you what he says, and I'm going to cut some of it out. But he said, I've read the bill, and it's very simple. We're in a land rush. Companies are coming back to the U.S. and Alabama with a heavy focus on moving all over the Southeast. It's all state energy. He goes on to say, the PSC isn't aligned with the state leadership to keep utility rates down, which would need to be, and stop ridiculous regulations from being implemented. If they don't do that, then they need to immediately not continue at the end of the 6-year term. Alabama is one of only 10 states that elect their public service commissioners. And even with that, all 3 of Alabama's current commissioners have been appointed, not elected. We need to raise the bar and ensure the right qualified people are overseeing our utilities, not politicians looking for the next job or doing political favors when they're up for re-election or election. So all 3 commissioners right now have been appointed because the other commissioners resigned or stepped down. Mm-hmm. But he's still not happy. It's funny. They're appointed. These 3 are appointed, but he's not happy with the appointed ones, but he wants to make it appointed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I find it interesting. I mean, Tuberville is presumably going to be our next governor. So we're now seeing how the legislature will react to him. He's not even governor yet, but apparently Tommy Tuberville said this is what needs to happen, and they are making it happen. Now, you can look at that a few ways. If you like this, and if you're on the side of Tommy Tuberville and he aligns with your issues, that is awesome. If this is something you want to happen, because he can make it happen. But the people of Alabama, Mac Butler put out a Facebook post yesterday and asked for the people of Alabama to respond. Do you want this to stay elected by the people or appointed by your governor, lieutenant governor, and speaker? The people overwhelmingly said, we want to keep this elected. Guess what? If you go to Mac Butler's Facebook page and look for that poll, it's gone.
Oh,
what
really?
happened to the poll?
Because I'm guessing leadership told him to take it down.
That's crazy. So
you cannot even find it. So you're watching now. Again, this is awesome. If Tommy Tuberville is doing your bidding and you are on the side of Tommy Tuberville, this is the way you get things done. I personally, and you could convince me otherwise, but I haven't heard a good argument as to why this needs to happen yet.
Yeah, it's such a corrupt. Why are our power rates so high? And now you've got people that could be appointed that would continue to do the bidding of the power companies, let's say. I'm not saying that's happening, but let's say it is. It's going to be even easier for them to get what they want because they're not accountable to us. They're accountable to whoever put them on that commission. And so, I mean, think about other positions that the commissions are appointed, like state health officer. We don't elect our state health officer.
Right.
It's still terrible and very unaccountable. You think about school boards across our state. They never really got anything done because they really never had any power other than what the higher ups told them they could have. Now, understand in some cases like library boards, we changed how we did that. That was because the people said, you guys have destroyed our trust. This is what we want. But it's because the people said it. That's what's different to me than the other two situations. And I'm probably sure that there are more. Now, I've also heard, and I could be wrong, and I saw a Yellowhammer article, I guess it was in this past weekend, about dark money flowing in.
Yeah.
Why is there dark money? I've heard that it's Chinese money. I don't know. But if you are for this appointing process rather than voting, y'all need to come out and tell us, this is what we're nervous about. We are confirming to you that dark money has gotten in the race. And we're telling you we think this would be safer. But instead, it looks like, hey, we wanted this done and we're doing it. And that feels a little rotten about it.
Okay, I'm going to read this again. And this is Tommy Tuberville, and this is in the Yellowhammer article. This is his reasoning for why things need to change. Now, the three that are in office have voted to keep our power. What was it? In the top 3 or 4 in the nation?
Top 4 in the nation.
So they have voted to keep your utility bills high. I get that. And so Coach Tuberville said the PSC isn't aligned with the state leadership to keep utility rates down, which they would need to be, and stop ridiculous regulations from being implemented. If they don't do that, then they need to go immediately, not at the end of a 6-year term. I guess he's thinking if they're appointed, then you can remove them easily.
You could.
Yeah.
You could. But then you can flip that logic and say, but these other people have been, they stepped down and we reappointed some other people.
Yeah. So, and that's what's funny about this is, again, these people were all appointed, but you're not happy with them, but you want to have the ability to appoint. I'm guessing too, y'all, I don't know this. I haven't seen this, but I'm guessing based on what I'm hearing, there's some polling that came out that maybe shows that these incumbents aren't doing really well. And maybe the people that are running against them, you can't control, and they're panicking about that. That's always got to be something when you have an election. You know, it's better to have the one you do know than the one you don't know. And Jim Ziegler, who's running, Matt Gentry, they don't seem like the type that would be very easily controlled.
No.
And so maybe that's some of the panic. I don't know. This whole thing's just kind of strange.
I'm with you though.
What?
You're right. The people
clip that.
Market.
The people that are running are uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And what do we love in politics more than anything, though we pretend not to? We love those that we can control. We know what's going to happen. We're sure of it. Nobody's taken by surprise. That makes the most sense to me.
Well, here's another angle on it, and this may be meddling, so I'll just be the one that says it. But
we're just talking.
Right.
You know, just asking questions.
I mean, Ivey yesterday came out in support of it, but also, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but the ALGOP came out and supported it And I actually know somebody who is on the state executive committee he put up a post. I won't say who it is. Put up a post and was like, we were never asked if we support it.
Yeah.
We were never confronted about it. I don't support it, and I know we don't support it. And he was very upset that the Alabama GOP put out that statement without even talking to the state executive or the party executive committee. So what the heck is that about? It just seems weird. You got like those things that seem to come out of nowhere, but then when they come out of nowhere, they got all the support from these people, and it's just like something's up. And then you start to go down the rabbit hole of, okay, now why? I understand Tuberville's reasoning. I still don't agree with it though, because the premise that he's saying it on is that government knows best. And I know, well, I being just, the legislature, but also, the governor, whoever, I know better. I know best of who needs to be and where better than the people. And some dark money, may come and somebody may get elected that really shouldn't be qualified. So government knows best. We'll make sure the right people are in those places. Yeah. He may not be meaning it exactly that way, but that's pretty much what he was saying. And I don't agree with that. Like I've said before, I'm not saying it's perfect as it is now, but I guarantee you, if government's the one controlling who's in those positions, it'll be a lot more corrupt than it currently is.
Agree.
So,
hey, how about if you guys really want this to happen, lead with your power rates are going to go down. We guarantee it. But they're not even saying that. I feel like it'll just become more of a cesspool than it's. I mean, the PSC in my lifetime has always been a cesspool. Yeah. Always.
And I don't know if that gets any better with appointing.
Yeah.
Because then you just buy off the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the speaker to appoint your friends, the people that you want that will do your bidding.
Kind of like a gambling commission.
Yeah. It's like which side. So the SEC, the Alabama State Executive Committee, they did not take a vote on this. And so a statement was put out, and there are a lot of SEC members that are not happy because overwhelmingly the people of Alabama do not support this. And I think part of what Tommy Tuberville's saying in the statement is that people they aren't educated. They aren't choosing good people. Okay, well, before we revamp the whole system, why don't we try and educate the voter and get out how important this is? That's one way. But I don't know. I mean, this isn't a hill I'm willing to die on in terms of like, I can kind of see both sides. I get it. You can still influence elections with dark money, and you can influence people. Now, it would hold the governor, lieutenant governor, and speaker accountable. You'd be able to point back to them and be like, y'all screwed up. You better make this right. But I just don't like it when it's like crammed down and you feel rushed and somebody's behind it and pushing it. I still don't know why.
Yeah, this is weird.
They're supposed to take a vote on it tomorrow.
So do we think it's going to pass?
100%.
Oh yeah.
It's 100%. It's going to pass. Now, somebody could offer some amendments to limit. That's a good idea. Somebody needs to offer an amendment to limit what money can fund maybe the campaigns of those people that choose.
And
like, if you are somebody that chooses the Public Service Commission, can you take Alabama Power money?
Right. So real quick.
I know we got to go to break.
Well, yeah. So explain to me, because whenever we talked about the legislature picking it, I kind of just assumed like the legislator from each county or whatever from each district would select it for that. But is it just there's going to be a commission, you're saying, of legislators that pick it, or is it just going to be like
it's the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the speaker.
So those three pick all of
just the 3 spots.
You see, I figured each representative would pick for whichever, and that's why I was kind of like, okay, well, you can say like you voted for the legislature and they pick on behalf of you, but that's
also, if you will tell us our power rates are going down in this whole, we're going to appoint them because we know better than you because we hate corruption too. Right. Suggestion, sure, guys. A suggestion also would be, and we're going to appoint the people that were already running for office. So we're just going to go ahead and put Matt Gentry and Jim Ziegler on there, and whoever, I don't know who the place 3 was.
It's not up for election right now.
Okay, so just 2. Like, hey, also, guys, we're going to appoint them.
That'll never happen.
I know.
A good call, though.
But it would be kind of fun.
It would be fun.
But which is exactly what the problem is.
She said it. We'll be back.
They donated those organs. That's a horrible precedent to set.
Good grief.
We have states in this country that have adopted bills or adopted those laws. I think most recently it is Governor Pritzker in Illinois has signed a bill into law to allow euthanasia. Governor Hochul is considering that. She will probably sign that in New York. Listen, we've been down this road before. If you look back in the 30s and 40s in Germany, the T4 program, which was the euthanasia program, to relieve the society of the burden of life, quote, they said, life unworth living. Since when do we become God and judge? No life is unworth living. That doesn't mean there's not suffering. But when you say, I take the most vulnerable, whether they be kids with a terrible cancer or adults at the end of their life, and we say that life is not worth living, so we're going to kill them off, that's a huge problem. It is a really dark slope, a really dark precedent, and I feel very strongly about that. I have an op-ed that I wrote that is going to be released on Breitbart that addresses this. That is something we take very seriously in this administration.
It's one you don't really think about.
You really don't. And yet, I think maybe it was Francis Schaeffer way back in the 70s who said that if we are going to allow abortion, the logical conclusion can only be euthanasia. And back then you go, oh, that's ridiculous. And here we are.
Right. I mean, let's face it. We remember what Bill Clinton, safe and rare, talking about abortion. Right. Now what is it? Now it's Katie bar the door all the way up until the day of birth or, goodness gracious, during labor. So you're right. You look at something like that, and that person was a prophet so long ago to talk about that.
So could we, values issue, your choice, because you're you.
Yep.
Values issue, or could we go to affordability for one quick second? I wanted to ask you about PBMs and where things stand with pharmacy benefit managers, because as I understand it, y'all are working on that.
That's right.
Helping people make drugs more affordable. We have someone in our household who takes a medication, and without help, it is a ridiculous price. So we're very thankful for the work that you're doing. But could you speak to the pharmacy benefit manager and their role in perhaps keeping drugs more inflated than they should be?
Sure. I mean, I think if you look, everything President Trump is doing, everything that we're doing at HHS, and a lot of this falls under Dr. Oz at CMS, Medicare, Medicaid, everything that we're doing is to reduce drug prices for people in this country. President Trump has worked hard to bring what we call most favored nation pricing. In other words, people in this country paying prices for drugs that are commensurate or the same as other countries, as opposed to these jacked up and ramped up prices. There are so many things President Trump is doing to work to lower drug prices for all of us. The PBMs are right. That's an area some people call them the middlemen or the middle managers. Everything that we're doing is trying to lower drug prices for people in this country. You mentioned Trump RX. Again, a huge step forward to help people connect with how they get the drugs at the lowest prices they can. Absolutely. If you look, there are, through CMS, there are drugs that are used for cancer treatment and chronic disease where we're working hard, and we have lowered those prices, producing incredible cost savings. We've seen that compared to last year. There's going to be more price savings and more drugs on that list. The prices are coming down in 2026 and more even in 2027. Again, working to lower the cost of these drugs that are important to treat cancer or to treat chronic disease. We are winning on the front of bringing down drug pricing. Are we winning fast enough? Listen, President Trump will always say, no matter how good we do, we could always do better. He is such a lion to move things forward. So we're working hard on that, and we're pushing forward. We want drugs to be as affordable as they can for people in this country. And again, there are concrete things that we have done that have dropped the drug prices down. There is a role to play also thinking about Medicaid services. Prescription drugs in Medicaid account for over $100 billion. Again, actively, there is a program out that states can opt into where they're getting lower prices for prescription drugs for Medicaid patients. And you may say, well, Medicaid doesn't affect me. But again, when you think $100 billion or more, it affects all of us because all of us are paying into that. We have lowered drug prices for Medicaid patients, if these states opt into the program is called the Generous Program. It's an acronym. The idea of lowering these prices, that's putting money back in the pockets of all Americans, those of us who pay federal taxes anyway.
Yeah.
So we are winning on all fronts when it comes to lowering drug prices, but there's more that we're doing. There's more to come, but we've done concrete things already.
Can y'all do anything about stopping Big Pharma from advertising every single slot during every single football game or thing I want to watch? It's really annoying.
I am so happy that you asked that.
Well, good, because I'm expecting you to handle it.
I'm so happy you asked that. So after I had my confirmation hearing in July.
Welcome back to Rightside. I'm Amy Beth with Allison and JP. So we have a short segment. JP, apparently you have a very funny story or a good story.
So I woke up this morning and I saw this story and I was like, oof, this isn't good. Did y'all see the story that in El Paso, they had to, the FAA had to shut down the airspace for the first time on domestic U.S. soil since 9/11. And then it came out that, apparently the cartel near El Paso was flying drones over airspace. And I was like, this is not good. And I was starting to think, are we about to go to war with the cartels? Is this about to be a whole big deal? Y'all know what it was that flew over airspace?
Wait, it wasn't drug cartel drones?
It was a party balloon.
What?
A U.S. official confirms to Fox News that the U.S. military shot down a party balloon near El Paso, thinking it was a foreign drone, leading to the unexpected airspace closure.
No way. What was it? Just a white balloon from somebody's wedding they let off? I mean,
yeah. Is a party balloon different than a regular balloon?
Yeah. Define the terms, man.
I'm sure they're like, the weather balloons.
Sparkly?
The weather balloon that flew over.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they wanted to differentiate from, something like that. But how do you mistake a party balloon with a foreign cartel drone and so convinced it's a drone, you shoot it down and shut down airspace. And you're like, the first time since 9/11, we've had to do this. And it was a party balloon.
Also, could we have a moment and hold space for a cartel drone?
Have binoculars.
No, it's somebody not good at their job.
Sir, it says happy birthday. Shoot it down.
Y'all. Wow. That's rich.
Well, apparently they also used like this. I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw something that apparently they used this like really sophisticated laser to shoot it down. I don't know. When I saw it, when I was genuinely concerned. Okay, here it is. This is from the Insider paper on Twitter. High energy laser tested near U.S. military base in El Paso during the airspace closure.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but in their defense, what if the cartels are like, forget the drones that look stealthily. We're going to use party balloons.
Yeah.
And then there's like a little camera just hanging from the end. Like, at Publix, they tie that clippy thing.
Yeah, I do.
And then it just flies and you think, oh, it's just a party balloon.
Oh, no,
they put some black tar heroin in there.
Señor, they shot down the party balloon.
Hola.
I do not see it.
¿Cómo está?
Ay, caramba.
No hay balloon.
We're gonna have to go to like different balloons. Party balloons are a no-go now. They're on to us. And then they're gonna see a drone come and be like, "Oh, it's not a party balloon. They're on party balloons right now."
You know what?
Don't worry about the drone.
You know who spotted the balloon and freaked out? Do you know who it was?
Who?
A woman. It's her fault.
Is that true?
No.
Oh,
but just think about all the emotional women we've talked about today.
Not a balloon.
You're a loser.
Where is it that they use condoms to make?
Hamas apparently was using condoms to make bombs.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. Okay.
Time for snacks.
Flashing hot news on the other side?
Yes.
Okay. We'll be back.
Y'all have heard us talk about Inspire Advisors, how Paul Breyer and his team at Inspire Advisors will help you grow your investment portfolio while also screening out companies that don't stand for conservative Christian principles.
Paul and his team are experts on what they call biblically responsible investing. And for a limited time, they're hosting a free class that you can register for.
Check out the class, and register for free at moneypatternwealth.com. It's godly, it's conservative, and it's financial freedom.
Again, go to Inspire Advisors at moneypatternwealth.com. Check them out and tell them you heard about them at Rightside.
And that was before I had my confirmation vote. But I had my hearing. We felt good about things. I closed my practice here in Birmingham, and I wanted to move up to Washington. And so I reached out to the commissioner at FDA, Marty McCary, because I know Marty. I said, Marty, can I come work as an advisor? Can I come work at the FDA? So I worked for about 3 months at FDA before I got confirmed into my position that I'm in now. One of the things that Marty tasked me to do when I was there was to work on this very issue, the direct-to-consumer marketing. Yeah. And if you remember back in the fall, there was a huge announcement because we had sent out multiple warning letters to companies saying, you can't advertise the way you're doing. Because you'd have these advertisements, you've seen them, we've all seen them on TV, where you have people dancing around and looking happy, and then they put in the fine print for 10 seconds, the drug may cause suicidal ideation or death, It's unfair marketing. It's lying to the American people. So yes, we are working on that. We've done more than any other administration to send these letters to stop these ads. Okay, there's more work to be done. But at the last administration, virtually nothing being done. Now, is that because they were in cahoots with Big Pharma? That's what I think personally. But regardless, they were doing nothing. This administration, Secretary Kennedy, we're really addressing that problem. We do have more to do, but we've done so much more than has been done previously.
Yeah, I actually, if you stop and listen, you're like, why would anyone want to take that? Like, you're surely going to die.
Yeah.
And some of the side effects are kind of funky. You're like, I don't know if I want that.
We want companies to have to be able to tell the American people with their ads, these are the potential risk of this drug. Again, it all goes back to informed consent. Mm-hmm. Americans need to understand what the risks are and the benefits are of anything, whether it be a surgery, whether it be a drug. We want to hold the companies accountable for that, and we are doing that.
Well, I just kind of want them gone. This is like, you're watching like the Alabama-Auburn basketball game today, and you're like having a great time, and then all of a sudden you got to think about, well, I might have kidney disease, and should I take that? Like, this is just ruining my day.
They're just unfair. They're just not realistic. If you had, in my personal opinion, if you had an ad where they said, listen, this is the drug, this is the condition it treats, these are all the potential risks, talk to your doctor that you trust and make a decision, great. But no, the ads are the people dancing around and jumping around and showing their best life in the fine print when they talk about the things you're talking about. They're not honest. We are working to improve that. We've done so much more than any other administration has done. But you're right, we need to work harder, and we are. I promise you, we are.
I believe you.
Yeah, we do. So what are other issues that we may not have covered yet that you want to make sure and talk about?
For years, we've known, those of us who are conservative, we knew that, for instance, in Medicaid programs, there was fraud going on. Yeah. Right. So what do you see up in Minneapolis and such, in Minnesota, in California? We are just exposing the actual fraud to the billions of dollars that's costing this country. Did that ever happen before? No, but it's happening under President Trump. It's happening under Dr. Oz, Mehmet Oz at CMS, Medicare, Medicaid. Let me tell you, he is hitting this hard. The Office of the Inspector General at HHS is hitting this hard, exposing this fraud. We are we are going to save Americans billions of dollars because of identifying this fraud and ending this fraud. That's real affordability when you think about that. That's money that is being stolen away from the American people. We are working hard to put an end to that. That's direct affordability, and that's going on. And it's really disturbing to think that your federal dollars, my federal tax dollars are being sucked away by liars and cheats. But we are working hard to stop that. And I'm telling you, there's incredible work going on with that. Americans need to remember that. Again, remember that every day, but remember that in November as you cast those ballots. If you want to go back, if you want to go to people who would let fraud go on, all you have to do is not vote for the candidates that support the president, and you'll get more of that same garbage.
Have you connected with Congressman Tim Burchett yet, the head of DOJ?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Y'all need to meet.
It has to happen.
I have not.
Yeah, maybe he could help. He is a congressman from Knoxville, where I grew up, and he just was assigned the new chairman of the DOJ committee. So maybe y'all could do some work together.
Yeah.
He's great.
No, I would love to meet that. I would love to meet him. Another thing in terms of, and this bridges the values and actually cost and affordability, The NIH announced that no longer would grants be available or go toward studies using aborted fetal tissues.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Again, Jay Bhattacharya, who is at NIH, he is an amazing warrior for this country. He's an amazing warrior for health. He is a believer. He's a brother in that respect. He's an amazing scientist. But NIH announced dollars aren't going to go toward those grants. So if those studies are going on, the money's going to be pulled. If you apply for studies, grants for studies that use that aborted fetal tissue, no longer. So what does that do? Number one, it's a win for life. Yeah. It's also a win for dollars that we have in this country for legitimate studies and research not going toward that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Our dollars, the dollars that we pay, tax dollars, will be going towards studies that actually improve health and actually promote life and actually do things to advance the health of this country. Again, is that affordability? 100%, because it'll make the country healthier. We will have better affordability. Our tax dollars won't go towards studies that aren't going to help this country get better. And I think that's huge. I was so proud of when I saw that come out.
And it is huge because it's also very hard for people to even believe that was happening in the first place. There's another, probably along the lines of COVID and you're a vaccine denier. Those kinds of things don't happen. But welcome back to Rightside Radio. I am Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. So this hour, it's our last hour of the day on a What the Hell County Wednesday. And the What the Hell County applied to the Public Service Commission, also to Pam Bondi, and whatever else we're going to talk about, because right now it's Hot Flash News. And then after Hot Flash News, we have the 3 at 4:30. So see, like this is an hour you do not want to snooze on. Do not snooze on us. Okay. Don't sleep on us.
I love how it originally was the 3 at 3, and now it's like the 3 at 4, the 3 at 4:30, the 3 at 2:30. It's funny.
We're whenever we want.
We're politicos when it comes to that. We're like, it's how we feel. We're toddlers when it comes to when we do our 3. It's when we got something to say. Okay. So
it's every day. It's just at a different time every day.
Yes. Based on flow. It's fine. All right, Allison Sinclair. I think it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for Hot Flash News.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
She knows we do this. Do you think anybody's told her?
Yes.
You really think so?
No, I think
okay.
Do you think Kay Ivey knows anything she does?
No. I feel bad
Does
for her.
Kay Ivey know she's alive?
No.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry, me mom.
No.
I think she's really cute. Like you kind of want to put her in your pocket
and squeeze her.
Yeah, put her in your pocket, but not running your state.
But I feel like she could actually kick your butt.
Oh, in the day? Yes.
Yeah, I bet back in the day you did not mess with Kay Ivey.
No. Can you imagine her as a teacher?
She was a teacher?
She was a teacher.
Oh, nobody wanted her class.
Phil used to always talk about when she was lieutenant governor, she was a pistol. Like you do not mess with Kay Ivey. But
I mean, she was good at her job. So I'm sorry for all the trouble she's had now, but back in the day,
she's good at it.
Nobody messed with Kay.
Okay, so first story for Hot Flash News is out of Ohio, and I'm going to read it, and y'all are going to go, huh?
Okay.
New Ohio bill would protect parents who refuse to affirm their child's false identity.
Can you say that again, please?
Yeah. New Ohio bill would protect parents who refuse to affirm their child's false identity.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Nobody has any, I mean, how sad. We have to pass a bill that says the state will not come take you if you don't agree and affirm your child's boy is a girlness. Like, what world do we live in?
Yeah.
Clown world.
When they're seeing what's happening in California and they're having to protect themselves because, look, they've got Somalis there too. So they've got their own trouble brewing. This is one of those things that maybe they're trying to get ahead of. I don't know. I don't know, but that's sad.
Yeah. So when you say protect, like, is the extent just that they can't come and take the kids away from you because they deem you as abusive or whatever?
Yeah. But we have to have a bill for that. It's kind of like we had to pass a bill in Alabama stating what a woman was, what boys and girls were.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
It's really sad.
Also that it took a long time to get the dadgum what a woman is passed.
Yeah, like 3 sessions or something.
And then they took a victory lap when they did it.
Yeah. Just cheer for ourselves. I really want to play this banger, as Abs and I used to call it. I don't think the grannies, they wrote a song about ICE and the racist raids. I don't think they say any bad words, but maybe we should skip it because those grannies can be.
They're salty.
But it is a banger of a song, y'all. When these ladies get going, they can sing.
Are they singing inside of a Target?
No, it looks like they're in a church.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. So Kentucky Democrat Governor Andy Beshear, did y'all see this?
Yes.
He used the Bible to justify gender mutilation. And he goes on to say, my faith teaches me that all children are children of God.
Man, there's few things that drive me more nuts than quote Christians twisting scripture while they're in positions of power for stuff. Who's that Texas representative who's running against Jasmine Crockett, who is a pastor in Texas?
Yes.
He went on Joe Rogan and talked about how the Bible supports abortion. James Tallarico. Like that, you ought to be struck down from God, like Old Testament style, for crap like that. And they do it with like a slimy, the Bible really. It's like abortion is okay. And if children are, it makes me want to puke.
I'd love for somebody to look at people in that moment and say, we are reading different books.
Right.
Now, Al Mohler did go scorched earth on Andy Beshear's.
What'd he say?
He just took him to task. I saved the clip, but I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I think it's worth playing because, he is what's he the head of? I don't even know. Al Mohler, y'all know his name. Very well-known pastor and leader. And he's in Big Eva, but on the outside, he is a believer. He does stand up for what's right. And he's probably in his 70s. So I was thrilled to see him take on Andy Beshear's. Like I said, I just saw the beginning clip and I thought, thank goodness somebody is clapping back at that insanity.
Yeah, he's the president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary.
Okay.
So back to, you were talking, because I saw that interview, but I didn't know who the guy was. Is this when he says abortion is biblical because Mary had a choice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and consent is always given.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do you have that clip?
I can find it during the break. But he looks like a slimy. He looks like an antichrist. He's got that smile. The Bible really likes abortion.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's not the book you're reading. You're making it up. Sorry.
Sad.
It is sad.
Okay. This is crazy. But Lauren Boebert went on Newsmax and said she thinks that Epstein might have been eating people after reading the unredacted files. There are code words that suggest Epstein and his associates may have been engaging in consumption. She went on public TV and said that. What the heck is in those files? Like, what are they seeing? Because to come out, because that sounds nutty. And to come out and say that, but maybe it explains why some, did you see Loomis? She's a Democrat. And she came out and she was like, I never really understood what all this was about with the Epstein files. I wasn't that into it. But she went and looked at it and she was like, now I get it.
Yeah. I don't know.
It is scary. And maybe that is why stuff isn't coming out. Like, the world isn't ready to handle what's happened.
I agree with that.
Well, I mean, Tucker did a monologue about the Pizzagate references in the email about going to get grape soda and pizza
What's
and
grape
jerky.
soda?
I don't know exactly what, but it's Pizzagate terminology between him and people. So
jerky terminology.
I don't know what the exact terms mean, but they are Pizzagate terms that were in the emails.
I don't
frequently.
think our mind can comprehend the level of satanic, demonic, occultish stuff that went on there. I don't think we can really wrap our brains around it.
So and I don't think you go out and say that because you sound cray cray if you haven't seen something or, maybe not pictures or read some, I don't know.
Did she seem bothered? I mean, she always is intense.
Yeah, we could play the clip. Maybe we'll listen to, I don't think there's anything in it, but I think she does talk about jerky.
Yeah.
What is jerky? I'd never.
This is a whole nother.
Yeah. Okay. I don't even know.
You don't know.
Anyway, crazy. All right. Miss North Florida, the winner of that pageant, her crown was revoked. Y'all want to take a guess why?
I saw this.
I think you saw. Yeah.
Did she say something conservative?
She said men can't be women.
Oh, the horror.
Can you believe it?
Wow. She ought to be thrown in prison.
Y'all, that's so sad. Like, poor little, she looks like she's like 17 years old. And baby girl just won her first, no, I don't know if it's her first pageant. And then they took it away.
I would think Florida is a conservative state. They wouldn't do that, but I don't know. The pageant world may be liberal. You may know this better than me, Amy Beth. But
it's not liberal, but she's not in our system, so I don't know. That crown is not ours, so I don't know. I need to go dig into. I was trying to look at her little sash and the lettering on it. So you know how everybody has their logo and whatever, but it's still pathetic that she said whatever she said. And now her crown's gone.
Yeah, it's one thing if she said something outrageous like liberals need to die. No, she just said men can't be women. Like,
and if she had said men can be women, she'd still have her crown.
Right. That's insane.
That's bad.
All right. Have y'all followed along? This will be my last story. Have y'all followed along with the age verification bill that was just passed in the House and the Senate in Montgomery?
Barely.
So a lot of conservative groups have been working on this. It's HB 161. And a lot of the advocates for it have said it will protect children because you have to verify their age. So when you go into and install an app, you have to download ID and all that kind of stuff. There's some good things like you have to label. Apparently right now, if you're in a 4+ app, the app itself could be good, but like the advertisements that come in can be really sinister and really bad. So it would make them rate those the correct way. But there's getting some pushback, and the governor, I think it's on the governor's desk to sign. But apparently people are saying that the attorney general will now have the full authority to implement digital ID for every state user. And so you're entering into your phone all this information about your driver's license and your photo and I don't know how that's different from, it already has pictures of you. It already knows everything. But our attorney general is going to have some weird powers to be able to implement this digital ID.
Well, think about this. If this is for kids or just checking your age to make sure that you have to be 16 or 18 for some of these apps. Do you know the age range?
I don't know. You might have to be 14. I don't know.
It feels awfully young for somebody who's just gotten their license or their school ID, whatever it is, to have to prove their age. And you're right. Now it's all uploaded and now you have it. That just doesn't feel right.
And I guess if you want to do it as a parent, you have to put in your information.
I don't like
What are you seeing?
This bill requires app stores to verify user ages and mandates that minor accounts be linked to parental accounts for approval. And it says that proposals include restricting addictive feeds for minors and prohibiting notifications between midnight and 6 a.m. So I guess what is deemed a minor below 18 in Alabama, right?
Well, I don't know, because at 14 you can make your own medical decisions. I think it
Yeah,
depends on how
it's
they
true.
define it. But this is just something to watch, because a lot of conservative grassroots, people that we trust, are really for it. And then there's some conservative groups that are like, wait a second, why are we? This is just more government invasion.
So is the digital ID a separate ID, or is it just you putting your ID into a digital database?
You would, it's something, you scan the front and back of your ID and it stores it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. In like your wallet or something like that.
I think that's a good, like the intentions are good, but then also it's the slippery slope of once they have that information. But I'm all for keeping that crap away from kids.
Yeah.
It messes with your head.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just curious what you all thought about that. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back with your texts, your thoughts, and more on the other side.
They do.
And this is remarkable that it doesn't happen anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, so many good things being done. I'm a Catholic Christian. In this administration, you don't have to check your faith at the door when you practice medicine or you want to care for patients. I say this because one of the things that the president is pushing, and Secretary Kennedy is very strong on, is conscience protections. In other words, if you're a physician or you're a nurse or you're a pharmacist or you're a healthcare provider and you say, you know what, this goes against my deeply held faith, my deeply held convictions, under the last administration or under Democrats, you'd be persecuted.
Yes.
You'd be disparaged, right? Not under this administration. So the conscience protections are there. If I was still practicing, I wouldn't have to worry that I was going to be attacked by the left because I didn't want to take part in some procedure that was against my conviction. So conscience protections are very important, but they're really being pushed and really being strengthened by this president and by Secretary Kennedy and all of us at HHS.
Well, the left does not check their religion at the door. So.
No, that's right.
No, their whatever progressive woke agenda does not get checked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we like to do something a little different. We call it the lightning round or your exit questions.
Okay.
These are like, just be Brian Christine.
I will be Brian Christine.
Take
I can't do
take
any,
off
I can't
your
do anything
Admiral
else.
hat. These are just kind of to get to know you.
Okay.
As a person. So, what was your very first job?
My very first job, I worked at a Baskin Robbins when I was in high school. And I think it was a terrible decision for the individual who employed me because I probably spent more time in the freezer eating ice cream than I actually did. No, I didn't really. But I worked at a Baskin Robbins. That was the first job. I did do some work at living in Augusta. Mm-hmm. There's a military base close by, Fort Gordon. Mm-hmm. And I worked at the commissary there, which was like the grocery store. Yeah. And I bagged groceries. And I did that during the summers. And that wasn't, got tips. And so there was that. But the first job that where I actually got paid and all that kind of stuff was at Baskin Robbins.
That's old school.
That's straight up old school. Yeah. Favorite flavor?
Oh, favorite flavor, pralines and cream.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's so Southern. Wow.
What is Southern? I can't believe you didn't say pralines.
Yeah, praline.
Well, I am an Army brat, so we've moved around a fair bit. But yeah, it was that was a lot of fun because I ate my way through a lot of ice cream.
And we say bravo.
I think they're putting in another, like I haven't seen Baskin Robbins in forever, and I swear I drove by somewhere and they're putting one in.
I think they are. I think I know what you're talking about.
And just in case Secretary Kennedy is going to watch this podcast, I have reformed my ways, boss. I know that pralines and cream is not very maha, but you know what? A little bit of sweet now and again is okay.
No, back then I bet it was made with like no fake anything. I bet it was legit
sugar
in the like 80s or 90s.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tasty.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure. Just maybe don't go work at the new one.
Biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve I have, I think, is that people will complain but not stand up for what's right. In other words, how many times have I seen, for instance, physicians who complain so much about the government and so much about what's going on in healthcare, but if you ask them to get out and support candidates who support, literally go to rallies or to give donations, because you have to be able to fund campaigns. They won't do anything.
Yes.
That I've seen that with physicians. Now, lawyers, I believe, are 100% the opposite way. They will get engaged and get involved. But there are so many physicians who will complain and won't do anything to help the situation. That is a peeve of mine.
I think that's probably, we could go in that category.
Well, you know, I'm sure you've seen that as well.
Absolutely. It's really hard to get people convinced that what you do matters. But you're right. Complaining without action you're just yapping in the wind.
You know what? Give donations if you can. Go knock doors. You've all done that. We've all done that. Go out there, put signs up, right? Do what you can do. If you really believe that things are a problem, then get out there and do something about it.
That's right.
It's kind of like teachers who, teachers are like the same. They're scared to put themselves out there and do anything to make changes. Like, if we all got together, we could actually do something. I don't know. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay.
It's your turn.
What's one new skill you would like to master because you have so much free time?
One new skill I would like to master.
Like a hobby or something you want to learn.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I know this is lightning round, but I'm thinking about that. I would say one thing I do wanted to get better at is because one of the reasons I wanted to be the Assistant Secretary for Health was that because, number one, because with Levine and the last time, I knew there were so many wrongs we had to right. And so that drew me, but also because the role of the Assistant Secretary, we talked about this, part of the role being communication and being out there, being out front, communicating things to the American people. I want to get better at that. I'd like to sharpen my skills on that. I think because I've had to communicate with people as patients for so long, I think I do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But this is a new kind of thing.
Welcome to Rightside Radio. I am Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. So before we roll into 4:30 and do the 3 at 4:30, JP, how about some texts?
So we were talking about the Public Service Commission drama, and Charles I, he texted in, said, AI warehouses are wanting no interference from elected PSC officials who would assist the average person.
That makes sense.
Really? Do you think it's
Charles
AI
the
warehouses that
It's
are
like the data centers
right?
and that. Yeah.
But do you think this is something they're willing to go that far? And also, do you think?
Yes.
Well, do you think the Alabama officials would bow that easily to them?
Yes. We said that too fast.
I mean, I don't have to think twice about it, but yes. I mean, and Charles I, so smart, but he's right. Dang. Didn't think about that.
Didn't at all.
Drats.
Let's see. Tom with all the kids from Huntsville.
Tom!
Hey, Tom.
Where have you been?
So he texted yesterday. We didn't get to it.
Why did you not tell me that? Because I thought, I don't know what I
Tom.
thought, but Tom's been gone.
But before he texted yesterday, his last text was January 21st. So we hadn't heard from him in a little bit. Tom said, "How is Alabama power generated, and what makes it different from other states that make it so expensive?"
You know what? Those are great questions.
I bet Charles I could tell us.
Charles I knows.
Yeah, he does.
I hope he's typing cat right now.
And what about the little nuclear reactors? Can we do that? That would be efficient.
Those still freak people out.
Yeah, they do. I don't know why. But
really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know who talks a lot about those are Gary Palmer. Maybe that was a huge initiative of his. Maybe we need to get him on the show and he can tell us if that will help our cost. Because if you do that, do you bypass Alabama Power?
Surely
or does it go through?
Surely they'll find a way if it does.
Yeah.
This is a funny text. Stephen from Athens says, "I'm sure you already know this, but it bears repeating. Allison jokingly commented that it was a woman. I think it was actually Amy Beth. It was a woman who reported the rogue party balloon. You know, the word hysterical is a reference to the female uterus. What is the medical procedure for surgical removal of the uterus? A hysterectomy. It's literally impossible for a biological male to be hysterical."
Yeah, abs.
It's true.
You walked right into that one.
It's true. Look, I'm just telling what we've said all day long because we may be the only honest women about this, that women are hysterical and there are positions that they clearly don't need to be in.
But their hysteria doesn't generally go away if you take out their uterus. So
No.
it's just in our DNA.
He also said hyster, the like prefix from the Greek word hystera. It means uterus or womb.
Yeah. But we have bigger issues. We can discuss those someday. All right, we'll be back.
JP here with Rightside. I need to remind you that Inspire Advisors is one of our sponsors, and they are doing amazing work. We know this audience, and you're the kind of folks who believe in standing up for your principles and being good stewards of your resources. What if the companies you're invested in don't reflect your values at all? That's why you need to meet Paul Breyer and his team at Inspire Advisors. Inspire Advisors, they are experts in the field of biblically responsible investing. They can help you grow your bottom line while also being proud of what companies you invest in. Inspire Advisors, you got to go check them out. Here's their website, www.moneypatternwealth.com, and tell them you heard about it on Rightside Radio.
Reviews or you're doing extemporaneous things, I'd like to get my skill set better so that I can better message for the president and for Secretary Kennedy.
I think you're a good communicator.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, we can always do things better, but
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You're thoughtful and well-spoken, but you're not like robotic.
Yeah.
You know, you talk to a lot of politicians and it's like you feel like you're just getting like a bunch of talking points that they've said a million times. I don't get that with you at all.
Not at all.
Good.
Not at all.
Don't turn into that.
No.
3 more quick questions. 1, what was your nickname growing up?
My nickname, that's interesting. Sammy was my nickname.
Okay.
So my name is Brian Sam Christine. Now, you wouldn't know this by looking at my last name, Christini, but I'm Italian-American. My grandfather, my dad's father, was Biagio Christini, Christini, right? My father's,
Great name.
I know, my father's sister, my Aunt Helen, who has passed, her name was Helen Christini, Christini, on her birth certificate. My dad was Alexander Christine, Christine. And so my dad could never explain how that change occurred. Who knows? But my middle name is Sam, named after my father's uncle, Sam, who passed away. But my nickname was Sammy. And so part of the reason it was Sammy is because there was Sam. But do you remember the movie Disney, Sammy the Way Out Seal? I guess you don't. I guess I'm showing my age. It was a seal, yes. And so, like, I love that movie, and so people call me Sammy.
The Way Out
Seal.
I bet.
Seal, as in like, not as in like.
Yeah. Did he like live way out there, or
Well,
was he like?
It was a cool. It
Now we're
was
gonna have
funny.
to find
Typical.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
back when Disney actually made movies that
Yes.
you'd want to take your kids to, right?
Yeah.
So Sammy was my nickname.
Okay, this was my question. You don't have to answer it.
Sure.
But what's RFK Jr. really like? Is he like what you see on TV?
He is. This is going to sound like I'm slinging a line, but he's amazing. When I got so my process was I wanted to serve in the administration, wanted to serve at HHS, and I really was liking the idea. I wanted to serve as the Assistant Secretary for Health. So I knew someone who was in the transition team. I sent my CV, and they said, we've showed it around to people, put a formal application in with the transition team. I did that. Had a couple of phone interviews, and then last year I got the word. They said, listen, we want you to come interview with Mr. Kennedy. And so I went down, and I interviewed with RFK. And in the room also was Jim O'Neill, the now the deputy secretary. They were there interviewing me. So I step into the room, and I step into the room with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It was, number one, it was almost kind of surreal that here I am, the little guy from Alabama who's talking to RFK Jr. He is like you see him. He's a very kind man. He's an incredibly thoughtful man. I'm going to say he's a humble man in that he's not afraid to say, in my life, I've made mistakes. I've had substance abuse issues. He's not afraid to admit mistakes. He's not afraid to admit wrongs, but he's not afraid to stand for what he believes. He's a really kind man. He's a really thoughtful man. So that, again, I believe he's like, to me, and when I've seen him with his wife, when I've seen him interacting with us, it's amazing. So let me give you a story, recent story. I told you that I'm the head of the Commission Corps, the Public Health Service officers. About 2 weeks ago, I got alerted from one of my admirals that one of our Commission Corps officers had done something really amazing. A lot of our officers are deployed to the Indian Health Service that takes care of health care on the Indian reservations for Native Americans and Alaskan Natives. Okay, we staff a lot of the Indian Health Service. There was one of our therapists, one of our mental health workers, who was out in Pine Ridge, which is in one of the Dakotas, but IHS, and was going to a high school, the local high school, and was supposed to meet with students who were having mental health concerns and wanted to talk. And only one student showed up. And so the administrator at the school said, you know what, to my officer, you know what?
Welcome back to Rightside Radio. I'm Amy Beth with Allison and JP. And so now we shall discuss stories in our little round table we like to call the three. It's just so good. JP, what kind of story you have for us today, sir?
So do y'all remember James Fishback? Oh, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
James Fishback, the candidate for Florida governor, who, if you remember, he proposed one of his crazy ideas is a sin tax, which is a 50% tax on income made from OnlyFans. He's becoming really popular because he's sort of emerging as like the future of the Republican Party. He's really against foreign aid, and he's actually not spending any money on like an actual, like his fundraising counts are so low because he's spending so much money on just like Twitter campaigning and going on podcasts and such. I don't know if he'll win and beat Byron Donalds, but he's emerging as this new Republican, young, fiery, interesting character. Well, people tried to burn down his house.
What?
So actually,
Oh,
I have a video of so I guess campaign headquarters also serves as his house, and his campaign team was at his house one night, and they were working, and somebody tried to burn down the house, and this was his response. It's actually kind of crazy. After, I think this was maybe 2 days or so after somebody tried to burn down his house.
You threaten our campaign. If you lay hands on a single one of our volunteers, if you come back to this home and our staff, our volunteers are working hard, we're not waiting for the police. We're going to shoot you with an AR-15, sight on scene, 5.56. Yeah! That's what we're going to do. It's very simple. Shall not be infringed. We have a right to self-defense as this campaign. We will never compromise that right.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
I love this guy. Like I said, I'm not sure. I don't know if he's going to win. The polling is crazy because Byron is ahead on the general polls, but he's like plus 20 in terms of younger than 30 Florida voters.
Really?
So it's going to come down to who turns out to vote the most. But I don't know. That was just awesome because he's clearly a threat if people are trying to burn down his house. But his response is not to cower. He literally just walks out with an AR-15. It's like, we will literally kill you if you try to do this again. So
that's what we want more of.
okay,
Sorry.
but I have a question.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
part of me that y'all remember Valentina Gomez,
yeah.
Missouri. She ran for Secretary of State or Attorney General. Remember how she had all those
Oh, yes.
outlandish,
Oh, yes.
crazy.
Yes. Burning a Quran, like that sort of.
Yeah, I kind
yeah.
of get the same vibe. Do you think he's real?
Oh, I do. Because I know what you're saying, but I don't know. I've listened to him on Tucker. I've listened to a lot of, he's got genuine and intelligent ideas. He's sincere in all of his beliefs, or at least from what I can tell. He does not seem like a shock jock crazy sort of guy. I think this is a genuine, smart, up and coming Republican conservative politician. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to win right now, but I think his future is bright in politics. So.
And I like Byron Donalds, but everybody says he's not who he seems to be. Have y'all heard that?
Yes.
Mhm.
That he's just not the guy you think he is.
I
I hear that about John Kennedy, the senator.
Yeah.
Like you hear that often. It kind of stinks.
I saw something about Byron's wife, like trashing the mansion that she doesn't want to live in the governor's mansion if they win, and talking about like where the governor's mansion is in Florida is a really bad part of Florida. So I don't know.
It's got to be better than our governor's mansion.
I'm sure.
It's got to be better.
Yeah.
That whoever, yeah. Hey, coach, I'll help you redecorate for free. Even with me, it's got to be better than what's happening down there right now. Not even a decorator.
Yeah.
I take a shot.
Oh,
Abs, what you got?
boy. Well, we haven't talked about this subject in a while, so I thought I would stir the pot. Because I saw
done it
that the NYPD the brass and the female officers at the Muna Islamic Center are tying hijabs, learning the proper wrap, and praising it as empowerment, dignity, and choice. Quranic recitations, student presentations, chaplains invoking hadith, all on the public's dime. But then I scroll up, and Representative Keith Self also says, this is alarming. 4 in 10 Muslims say they want Sharia law in the United States. Now, this is not a surprise, and we think, well, why should we care? Well, because we have our first coffee shop run by Muslims that's getting ready to open right by our house. And lest we think those issues are far, far away, they are not. So Keith Self brings up that we have seen how state-enforced Sharia functions in countries such as Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, and Saudi Arabia, but we're seeing it in other parts of our country as well. Women are beaten, forced to wear full-body coverings, girls as young as 9, and you've seen them, even in the U.S., defending marrying 9-year-olds. And then in other countries, Christians are persecuted and killed for their faith. So I just wanted to take this as a reminder as I passed the coffee shop that may be open. I mean, it may already be open, but I passed it 2 weekends ago and I thought, we haven't talked about that in a while. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But for the Muslims who are here, 4 out of 10 of them want Sharia law. Beware.
Which, why wouldn't you? I mean,
yeah,
if you're them, that's what
That's what you want. And for all of us that are like, oh, nice. Nice has nothing to do with it. We're looking reality in the face. And the world is looking at reality in the face. And we cannot remain ignorant and pretend that when they say this is what they want, this is exactly what they intend to get. And what have we done about it?
They're going to woo us with their coffee.
What's the latest on Tuberville's legislation he introduced banning Sharia law? Have y'all seen anything?
I don't know. We really need to get him on to talk about it.
Yes, please.
So he introduced it in October. I haven't heard anything since.
October?
Yeah, October 2025 is when he introduced the legislation ban Sharia law. Yeah, CAIR, the Council of American Islamic Relations, really has gone hard after Tuberville. I mean, we saw that with our interview with Tuberville.
Yeah.
But I just haven't seen it. I'd be interested to see if that were to pass, if it were to go through, because it really put these Republicans on the spot, these so-called Christian conservative Republicans, how they vote for it. So
yes,
there's another bill that Tuberville just filed that I want to get him on to talk about. This was the pro-life. I think We're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. What is it called? Hold on. I got a press release. Yeah. I've been a champion for the unborn. Every life is precious, no matter the stage. This deserves the protections we have in the Constitution. Life begins at the moment of conception, and anyone who would decry that basic truth is sick and evil. So he has legislation it's the Life at Conception Act, which would legally recognize the right to life by extending the 14th Amendment to unborn children. I would love to get him on to talk about that too, because I think that's important. And he has several, Marsha Blackburn, Bill Haggerty, Steve Daines, John Kennedy, several co-sponsors. I don't see Katie Brett, but maybe she signed on now. But that's important. So, and then Tuberville also has been really outspoken about the SAVE Act too. So we have lots we could talk to him about.
Well, I hope if he can't ban it federally, maybe as governor, he helps ban it state level.
Oh, man.
Is Sharia law illegal in Alabama right now? I don't think so.
It actually is.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. Oh, wait. I just lost my story.
Oh, wait. What? What was your story about?
Hold on. I got it. It's
okay.
good.
Okay.
It's good. I'm back. I'm back.
Good.
I got distracted with the life begins in conception. Okay. Andy Ogles, Republican congressman from Tennessee, calls for formal inquiry into Bad Bunny's indecent Super Bowl show. It was, quote, pure smut. We must ensure that we hold Spanish language content to the same standards. So he's asked Energy and Commerce Committee to lead an investigation into what the National Football League and NBC Universal knew about Bad Bunny's set, suggesting that they help facilitate what he called an indecent broadcast. So I'm guessing the words that we read and couldn't read on air that were so bad were actually correct. And if you sit up there and you are with your 10-year-old son who speaks Spanish, I cannot imagine. Okay, forget 10-year-old son. Even if you're an adult, nobody should be subjected to that. You know, if you're in your car and you want to listen to 2 Live Crew and Eazy-E, it's probably not the most beneficial, but whatever. You can't subject people to listen to that crap. And there's no way NBC and the NFL didn't know what he was singing. Do you know how many times they had to rehearse that?
Oh my gosh.
How many times nothing passes without the scrutiny of those boards and those people. So we need to watch that. What?
I don't know. It's stuff like that. Like, obviously I agree with you, but also it's like, this is the stuff I feel like Republicans in Congress focus on instead of like codifying Doge or doing other, I don't know. It just
getting serious about affordability.
Right. And I mean, also, if they do an investigation and find that they did know, okay, then now what legally can you do? Like, are you going to say that certain dancing or like there's been gross dancing on the Super Bowl halftime show for a long time? I don't like it, but it's just a fact. So it's like, okay, cool. I agree with you. But also, are you spending your time on this instead of something more important? I don't know. I don't. Okay, you do an investigation and find that they did know beforehand. Okay, now what? You think they're actually gonna do something about it? I don't know. It's probably just more my sinister hat, but it's just like all this other stuff that they're not doing, and then the stuff, this is the stuff they've harnessed and focus on. It's like a culture war sort of thing. Which, like I said, it's important, and I agree with you. But also, like, what are we gonna spend our time on?
No, I mean, I agree. We've got bigger issues, but you can't let them get away with it. I mean, somebody has to hold them accountable. Right. And it didn't seem like anybody else was, because then if you let them get away with it, then it just gets worse. I don't know. And it was so in our faces and so intentional. Like, hey, all these stupid Americans, they're not going to know what we're saying, and they're going to be clapping and dancing. And really what they're singing to is vile, degenerate, disgusting, ungodly. I mean, like, if you go back and read it, like I said, they talk about things I didn't even know were a thing. It's bad. And so they're just laughing at us the whole time.
Chris from Rogersville says, JP, they do this as a distraction so they don't have to actually do their job.
I mean, that's true too, but I don't know.
I think it's both and. How about
Yeah, both and. Yeah, I agree with all that, but it's, I don't even know. I've never heard of Andy Ogles till you brought him up. Is he a newer guy?
He's been, in Tennessee politics, he's been around. I think he's part of the Freedom Caucus. You'd probably know him if you saw him. Maybe not. Let's take a break. Does anybody have anything else they want to cover before we go to break? No?
I think we're good.
Okay, well, let's just take a little rest. We'll be right back.
Go home. And this is Lieutenant Fellows. Go home, Lieutenant Fellows. There's only one person here. And she said, no, I'm here to take care of the kids. So start talking to this 14-year-old young girl. The 14-year-old young girl related a history of trauma and abuse, suicidal ideation. Lieutenant Fellows, I'm so proud of her. She stayed with that child. She made sure that the school teachers and all stayed with that child while she got arrangements made to transport that child to a hospital. The child was evaluated, was admitted because of ideation. As they're taking the child into the hospital, in her bag, she had a suicide note written that day, dated that afternoon. She had a noose that she had made.
Oh.
And she said, had it not been for Lieutenant Fellows, I would have committed suicide that day. So I got this word and I was like, this is an example of why my officers are so important. And so I related that to Secretary Kennedy's chief of staff. And I said, hey, I'm going to call, just to let you know, I'm going to call Officer Fellows later on this particular Friday. I'm going to call to say personally congratulations, because she works normally at the FDA, office in Salt Lake City, but she was deployed out to IHS, to Indian Health Service. Okay. Anywho, I said, I'm going to make a call to congratulate her. So what happens? I get word, Secretary Kennedy wants to make the call with you.
Oh, wow.
So we get on the call. It's a video call. There's my officer. So proud of her. There's my officer. And there's not only the Assistant Secretary for Health, because she was blown away by that, because the prior Assistant Secretary didn't really give a darn about his officers. He wouldn't do things like this. There's the Assistant Secretary speaking to her, and there's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Wow. His words to her were so meaningful. He didn't have to do that. He did that because he saw someone who went above, who saved a life. That's the kind of man he is. When he sees people doing good, he wants to recognize that. And I think he understands the power of someone at his position and his name recognition, telling this officer, you've done so well. Well done. You were a good and faithful servant. That's the kind of guy he is.
He seems very human.
He is very human.
And that's
I think he is. He's
endearing
realistic. I mean, he's real. So here's another little story. And I told this at an interview recently. My final interview for the process was at something called the Presidential Personnel Office, PPO. So I interviewed at the White House, not with President Trump, but with his staff office. After having gone through multiple interviews, interviewed with Secretary Kennedy and such, I had that interview at the White House. And after the interview, I was escorted out, and they said, listen, they said that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants you in the position. The final decision will be made by President Trump. And I wanted to go pray. So from the White House, I walked to the Cathedral of St. Matthew, which is the cathedral for the Archdiocese of New York. Every diocese or every region has its cathedral. In this case, the Cathedral of St. Matthew. I'd never been there before. So I walked down the central aisle because I wanted to kneel in front of the high altar to pray. And at the end of the aisle is a disc in the floor. And the disc says, this is where the body of President John F. Kennedy laid in state, on this spot. And so I thought, I want to go work with a man whose father and whose uncle were martyrs for our republic. Forget the politics. If you don't like the politics of John F. Kennedy or Senator Bobby Kennedy, forget it. They literally were willing to die for this country. I know that RFK would die for this country. I know that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would shed blood for this country. And so, at that moment, I just hit my knees and I said, God, let me work with this man. And here I am. But that's what he inspires in people. And it's not just me saying this. You talk to anybody at HHS, any of us who've been, put into position there. He inspires us every day. He's amazing.
Wow.
Which is exactly what you have done for us. You inspire us too, and you make Alabama proud. But it seems that we are in very good hands.
Well, that's kind of you to say. I appreciate that. This is a blessing. It is a privilege to wear this uniform. It's a privilege to serve, to work with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It is a privilege to serve President Trump and to serve our republic. It really is. And so do me a favor, pray for us. Pray for us at HHS. Pray for the president. Pray for Secretary Kennedy. Pray for me. Pray for all of us at HHS trying to do good work, because we need the prayers. Because I'm sure there's enough people on the other side who wish us ill, but pray for us, because that's really meaningful.
We will.
Well, y'all do a good job. Just stand in truth. Don't back down.
That's right.
We got you as much as we can. But y'all are doing great work. I mean, just in a few short months, I feel like really putting out and changing a lot that needed to be done. So
we are doing so much. There's so many good things happening under this administration, but we're doing so much at HHS. And it's venues like this that get the word out to the people, because you're never going to hear it from, CNN and all those other ridiculous networks that all they do is lie to the American people. What you're doing is speaking truth. And I tell you, you aren't just some shells for the administration. You people stand on truth. And, if you see something go right that you think
we're going to do our best. Hey, y'all, it's Amy Beth. I'm with Allison and JP. And I think it's finally time. We are moving beyond would you rather. And now we've stepped into a new space called Never Have I Ever.
Oh, wait, one of them didn't go. There we go.
There we go. So how about JP?
How about that?
And y'all play
Oh,
along
wait.
with.
Sorry.
I like that too.
How about that?
Okay. How about that? So let's go.
Okay. These
Wait,
are some good ones.
This is okay.
I screened these.
All right, so you have to put up a hand.
If you've done it.
Okay.
No, and then you take one down if you haven't, right? Or if you have.
Yeah, you put a finger down if you have.
Okay.
Okay,
So we're holding up
So we're
5
starting with
fingers.
5
Okay, so we'll go with 5. Okay.
Okay.
Never have I ever gotten a tattoo.
down. You have a tattoo?
What?
Well, no, I thought you put a finger down if you have gotten it, like if you have done it.
Oh, if you have. Okay,
So-
Oh, never have I ever.
So you put a finger down if you've done the thing.
if you have it,
Yes.
finger down.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All
Okay.
5.
Never have I ever gotten a speeding ticket. Never have I ever lied to
Wait. We have to tell everybody because like our listeners can't see. So
Oh,
all
that's so
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
sorry. Yeah. Okay, so we all got a speeding ticket.
Yep.
How many of y'all gotten?
Several.
Me too.
But it's been a while.
I get out of most of mine.
I get out of most of mine.
Ow.
I've only gotten 2.
I've gotten 3.
How many have you had gotten, Allison?
I've gotten pulled over several times, but I'm really honest about it. Like I don't cry.
Don't work on me.
I just when they walk up, I have my license out the window and I'm like, sorry. I know. I actually, the last time I actually did get a ticket, I gave him my honest excuse. I had hot chicken fingers in the car for the kids at the lake house. And he's like, well, I mean, if you die, you're not getting anybody chicken fingers. I was like, okay, fine. Anyway,
Never have I ever lied to get out of going to work.
oh, I have.
I haven't. Amy Beth and I have not either.
Wait. Oh,
You've
wait,
never.
wait.
Does it count if it was an internship? It was when I was an intern at the Tennessee legislature. And my roommate worked for a marketing firm and she had to go to New York City for the day. So I just called in and didn't go. But then we went to the Today Show.
No, you didn't. And
And-
you got seen on the
Yeah.
Today Show. Allison.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But they thought it was funny.
Okay.
Okay. Never. Here's a good one. Never have I ever lied to someone in this room.
I mean, I'm trying to think.
I don't. Yeah, I can't think.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I've lied to y'all about anything.
Mm-mm.
I mean, if I have lied, it's like, I really like your Crimson Tide shirt, JP.
Thank you.
I
So
love
Allison's
that
at 3.
red.
JP and I are at 4.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Here's another one. Never have I ever given someone a fake name.
I can't even come up with one on the spot.
Didn't
fast
you
enough.
use a fake ID? Does that count if you used a fake ID? Back in the day, we couldn't print IDs with our faces and names on it, so we had to borrow someone that kind of looked like us.
Do prank calls count as using fake names?
I think so.
All right.
Never have I ever stolen anything.
Oh, never.
I've never.
Mm-mm. JP.
What did you steal?
You were a kid. Say you were a kid.
I was in college, and me and my roommates would,
What?
during the self checkout.
JP.
It was not my idea. My roommate would be like, "Okay, we're just not going to do this one. This one, it's past the statute of limitations." Okay.
Wait, are you stealing like a candy bar?
I mean, like
Beer?
no, like drinks or paper towels or chips.
How the heck do you pack paper towel? Like, where do you put them? How do you get out?
No. It's the self checkout, and when we did it one time, or my roommate did it one time, and it didn't go off, and he. Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay.
That's the story.
Okay. All right. All right.
All right. We'll
We're
do.
all at 3.
We'll do one more.
3 y'all.
Never have I ever hitchhiked.
Never.
Not purposefully. I remember running out of gas one time with my dad. This is back in the day before cell phones, and we had to get in a sweet little couple picked us up. But I wasn't hitchhiking. Does that
doesn't
count?
No, we're
Okay.
even.
Okay, so
and
we
you were
all-
with your dad.
No. Keep going.
Okay, fine. Never have I ever. These aren't good ones. Never have I ever been refused entry into a club. Never.
I mean, I probably have.
Never have I ever been sick on public transport.
Never.
You've never thrown up in a plane?
Mm-mm. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
we got about 10 seconds, but we all finished at 3.
Okay. Yay
Shoot.
us. I like that.
I
That's
won't
good.
see y'all tomorrow. I'll miss you. I'll send pics.
You're listening live to Rightside Radio with